What is going on, everyone? How are you guys doing tonight? It is Monday, January 25th, and here we are for the go home episode of Monday Night Raw before the WWE 2021 Royal Rumble this Sunday. Whew. I don't even know where to begin. I don't even know where to begin tonight. My God, this show reeked of the very first month or two of the pandemic episodes of WWE. Man, this was terrible. Almost from start to finish, this show was terrible. Absolutely terrible. There was nothing really important. Of course, there were a few things here and there to talk about, but for the most part, this show was extremely forgettable. It's very sad that this show is leading into the Royal Rumble because, boy, this didn't do anyone any favors, to be honest at all. Whew, okay, so let's go ahead. Let me go through here. PWR, welcome to the stream, my friend. Nova, good to see you. Lo, welcome back, my friend. Alex Silver, on a scale of 1 to 10, I don't think this show makes the scale. I would completely agree with that. Jaquari Simmons says, what happened in the main event? Randy Orton ended up attacking Alexa Bliss. Chloe says, all right, I got my bunny pom-pom pen. I'm ready for some gold counting. All right, there we go. There's your first one. Hoodie, how you doing, my friend? Must be Monday, 100%. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight must be Monday. What up, AOW? How you doing? Brian, thank you for tuning in. Marcel, how you doing, my friend? Shanak, how you doing? Daryl, welcome back. Jermaine, Leroy, Alex, Corbin, Flash. I just skipped a bunch, I think. Chloe, Kyle, Raphael, good to see you. Anthony, welcome back, everyone. CM Punk is here. Ryan Hunt, my homework is more entertaining than Raw. Yeah, I would say so as well. Man. The Sane Gamer, how's it going, my friend? Thank you for tuning in. Jeremy says, I have a prediction: Roman versus Daniel Bryan, career versus title at WrestleMania. Very well could be. I don't know about Daniel Bryan losing his career, though. Matt says, no matter what, the Royal Rumble is going to be a big payday for WWE because every casual and on and off viewers love it. I mean, here's the truth about the Royal Rumble. The Royal Rumble will always be a special event. The Royal Rumble will always kind of feel like a big deal. It's exciting because you don't know who the entrants are going to be, but overall, the Royal Rumble as a pay-per-view has no hype. It's terrible. What is the Royal Rumble pay-per-view has absolutely nothing going for it other than the men and women's Royal Rumble match. That's literally it. No one in this world wants to see Drew McIntyre versus Goldberg. There's no one. No one. I'm sure, I mean, myself, I am hyped to see Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens once again. I mean, I know we've seen it 3 or 4 times already, but man, that is how you hype up a feud for a pay-per-view. Like, can we see the comparisons? Can we see the difference between you could pick any Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens spot leading up to one of their matches. You could also pick Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso's leading up to one of their matches. Compare that to Drew McIntyre and Goldberg. Come on. Come on. Like, really? There's no comparison, man. There's no comparison at all. That's why it's so frustrating. That's why it's so frustrating. So much better on SmackDown. I'm actually looking forward to Friday's episode of SmackDown. Hopefully it's a lot better than this. And hopefully they start... hopefully they actually start like building up this Royal Rumble pay-per-view, because to me, it just seems like they're desperate. It just seems like WWE is desperate. I want to get this off really quick, and then I'll go through chat here, and we'll get back to our regularly scheduled program. But coming off of, we'll talk about this before we get into the show as well, but unless you're living under a rock, you probably heard today that the WWE Network for people in the United States is going to be no more come March, and we will all have to subscribe to NBC Universal's Peacock subscription service. That has been trending all day. That has been a huge topic of discussion all day. So I really, really, really thought that today they would be focused on maybe putting on an entertaining show. And not only that, but we are leading into the Royal Rumble, which is on Sunday, which is a huge event with huge implications on the future. The road to WrestleMania starts on Sunday. And they didn't care. They really, really, really didn't care. It's a shame to see here. So I'll get back to chat, and then we will talk about this Peacock deal here. I'm not quite sure that everyone understands it quite as much as they should. So we'll talk about that. And if there's any questions, we can go over those as well here. All right, let's see. Hope Peacock is happy with this, says Obi James. Yeah, right. Welcome in, my friend. Good to see you. Charles says, who do you want to return at the Royal Rumble? Mine are Brock, The Fiend, Cena, Rollins, and Jay White. I wouldn't mind seeing Brock return. I don't think that's gonna happen. For me, honestly, after Legends Night, I want to see Carlito. I want to see the entire world explode. The internet is gonna go crazy. I want to see Carlito be a surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble. People have been talking about Carlito ever since Legends Night, so let's get Carlito in the mix there. Let's get Carlito in. Alex says, I just wanted Edge to beat up Goldberg and replace him in the Drew match. Hey, I wouldn't have mind that. Would not have mind that. But the sad thing is that we have to realize it's going to happen every single year, is that Goldberg will have 2 matches every single year for like the next 3 or 4 years, whatever it is. So expect to see him twice. So expect him to interrupt a world championship title picture twice a year. Nova says, I'm getting the network just for the Rumble, but revealing your number 30 in a shitty sideshow is stupid. Yeah, I mean, they're bringing back WWE Backstage for a one-time Royal Rumble show. I don't know if this is a test to see how it will do in the future, since it was canceled before. So I'm not sure if this is a test for them in the future or not. But yeah, they're giving away the 1 and 2 spots for the Women's Royal Rumble and the 30th spot in the men's. So we could even potentially be seeing more spoilers. These could be more spoilers for people who are not announced or declared for the Royal Rumble yet, which is a huge shame. And I think, personally, number 1 and 2 are just as important as 30. So I don't know, man. Marcel says, at authors 1 billion, by the way. Yes, we will talk about that. That's a lot of cheddars right there. Ryan says, I'd be down seeing Edge versus Roman at Mania instead of him facing Drew if he wins. I'm totally down to see Edge versus Roman Reigns. I'd love to see Edge versus AJ Styles as well. I think that would be a good one. So we'll see. As long as it's not Randy Orton, I think I'll be pretty happy with it. Maddie says, almost a third of the men's Rumble can win the match and make sense. That is something that they do have going for them this year. The men's Royal Rumble winner is like, could literally be almost anyone at this point, which is pretty crazy. I figured that we would have a way better picture of who would be winning at this point. For me, I could see AJ Styles winning. I could certainly see Daniel Bryan winning. And now I could definitely see Edge winning as well. So it'll be interesting to see. I just skipped a bunch. 25 cents in the swear jar. I will never. I'll be in so much debt for if I keep saying gold. Alex says, can Gold even pick up Drew? Who knows? Who knows? No, King D. I have not watched the Carlito Hall of Fame yet. You know what? All right. You know what? Here we go. Carlito Hall of Fame WWE. Okay. I have it in my browser. All right. I will watch it as soon as I go off the air. I will watch it. Eric says Goldberg's contract finishes next year in 2022. Really? Amazing. That is amazing to hear. I'm very happy to hear that. So maybe we only have one more year of this garbage. Leroy says, I dodged a bad show tonight. Really craving some Arby's right now. There you go, man. Get you some Arby's. Get you some beef and cheddars, man. And some curly fries. That's how you do it. Marcel says, AEW can't come soon enough. I need some holy water. Yeah, man. I need to be cleansed of tonight. My God, this show was just brutal, man. Just absolutely brutal. Ryan says, now we see why nobody cared about WWE Backstage in the first place unless CM Punk was involved. I think that they really messed up in having him join it and be a part of it because he was only on a couple episodes. He wasn't on it regularly, which was a huge shame. And I think that really took away from it. I think it really took away from it. I bet that number 30 is for the men's Royal Rumble is Edge. I could see it being Edge. I could see it being Seth Rollins as well. I definitely think that could happen. Clifton says Edge is winning this year. I think I could certainly see Edge being the winner this year. This year's Royal Rumble could be the worst in WWE history. How do you ruin a Royal Rumble? That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. How do you ruin a Royal Rumble? It's my favorite event. My favorite event in all of wrestling. All of wrestling. The Royal Rumble is my favorite. So to see this show be in the dumps already is pretty brutal, man. Pretty brutal. But hopefully, hopefully SmackDown will turn things around a little bit here, and then hopefully they'll put on a good show. Hopefully they'll put on a very good show. Recently, SmackDown's been pretty decent. Recently, it certainly hits or misses sometimes, but some of the pay-per-views have been pretty good, even though that the weekly shows have been terrible. So I'm hoping that the Royal Rumble will be good regardless. Really am. And also, something to note as well is that we've heard for quite a while now that the WWE is aware that no one likes their product. They know that their shows are not good. It was rumored that the Royal Rumble will be the reset. Royal Rumble will be the reset for creative and everything, and this is where they will start to focus and start to bring things together. So I hope that that is true. I pray to God that that is true, because I can't take it. I can't take it much more. It's so brutal to sit here and watch these shows for hours on end, and hours on end. It's insane. It is insane. I thought that there were a lot of high points this week compared to a lot of shows recently. Can't expect them to get better if we're going to shit on them, even when they do some things right. So, Oni, since you enjoyed some things, would you mind sharing with us what you thought was good? What did you think was good from tonight's show? Maddie says, Sheamus is my favorite to win the Royal Rumble. Sheamus could very well win the Royal Rumble. Nakamura could win the Royal Rumble as well. Lots of people, man. Marcel says, did you hear that Vince's brother just died? No, I did not. That is very sad. Rest in peace to his brother. That is very sad. Hopefully he is doing okay with that news. Sounds like a very terrible time for something like that to happen with such a busy week in your company right now. So hopefully he's doing all right. Hopefully he's doing all right. Chloe says Raw has good pay-per-view matches, but terrible shows. Yeah, I don't know why they do it. I don't know why they do it. I really don't. It doesn't make any sense. I feel like if they just extended their matches, they wouldn't have to do so much bullshit all the time. You know, these shows would write themselves. And we're gonna talk about that when we start off the show too, because we saw a match 3 times in the first 30 minutes of tonight's show. 3 of them. Absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. Flash says, wait a moment, where the hell is Keith Lee? Good question, man. Good question. We did not see quite a few people on tonight's show, actually. We did not see Keith Lee. We did not see Jeff Hardy. We did not see Elias or Jackson Riker, who have been featured quite a bit, actually. They've been featured quite often in the show. So very interesting that those people have not been on the show tonight. There was supposedly some sort of COVID outbreak, but that had happened before, so those were all on TV previously, so I'm not quite sure. Killer Cobra says, what if Cesaro wins the Rumble? That's the dream. That'd be insane, man. Cesaro winning and going on to WrestleMania to dethrone Drew McIntyre or Roman Reigns would be incredible. Anthony Torres says, did Keith declare himself in the Rumble? I'm actually not sure, but I believe that WWE posted a thing of all the entrants in the Royal Rumble. Let me see if I can find that. I think it was on Twitter's where I saw it. Actually, I might have saved it because I was trying to count how many people had announced themselves. I think it was like 16. Okay, I have it right here. No, Keith Lee has not declared himself for the Royal Rumble. So right now I'm looking at this picture that WWE brought up during Monday Night Raw. So I guess I'll tell you that all the men and all the women that have declared themselves so far. So for the men's side, we have Uncle Ziggy, Sami Zayn, Mustafa Ali, Jeff Hardy, Cesaro, AJ Styles, Sheamus, Shinsuke Nakamura, Otis, Jey Uso, John Morrison, Randy Orton, The Miz, Big E, Daniel Bryan, and Bobby Lashley. So that is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. That is 16 men that have declared themselves for the Royal Rumble so far. On the other end, on the women's side, we have Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose, Tamina, Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, Bianca Belair, Shayna Baszler, Alexa Bliss, Bayley, Charlotte Flair, Big Oof, and Peyton Royce. And that is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That is 12. So 16 men and 12 women announced for the Royal Rumble so far. Mark 10 says the drizzling shits. Yes, man. Yes, man. The drizzling shits. Keith Lee winning the Royal Rumble. Keith Lee would be a fantastic winner of the Royal Rumble, to be honest. There's a lot of people here that could win. The booking has not been great for any of them, to say the least, but there are a lot of people that could win this year. Captain says, do you think some NXT superstars will appear in the Rumble? I'm not sure, actually. I would have said yes before, but since they're having these COVID problems, I'm not sure if that will change anything or not. So I don't know, to be honest. I don't know. Oni says Edge's promo was great. Sheamus match was solid. I actually like the Alexa match ending. I like the Hurt Business in developing this inner rivalry that should result in Cedric versus Shelton match. Okay, so I will go on for those. I will counter your things that were good. And not to say that they were bad by any means. Not to say that they were terrible, but they just don't make sense. The Royal Rumble's on Sunday. Just a couple days. So why would you have Edge show up when he can just be a surprise? I'll tell you why. It's because there's no hype for the Royal Rumble. No one cares. other than it just being a fantastic event, like a nostalgic event that people love because the Royal Rumble is so cool and such a cool idea that people love it. Aside from that, there's nothing going on for the Royal Rumble. If there was, they wouldn't have had Edge randomly show up on Raw. Who knows how, like, last minute this was to put together. He had a really long promo, which was good. It was fine. He declared himself for the Royal Rumble when it should have been a surprise. Makes absolutely no sense. And then them announcing the other stuff on WWE Backstage just tells me that they're desperate to get people to watch the Royal Rumble. Sheamus matches were very solid. I do agree with you on that. Sheamus beating John Morrison was perfectly fine. Even the handicap match afterwards with Sheamus taking on The Miz and John Morrison was fine. But it doesn't make sense because you just 50-50 booked. And The Miz and John Morrison beating a single man who have already been through a 15-minute match doesn't make them look strong. It doesn't do anything for The Miz or John Morrison, so they still just look like a bunch of geeks that lose a lot. The Hurt Business in developing this inner rivalry. I do not like this inner rivalry in the Hurt Business. The Hurt Business is one of the best things that the Raw has going for it. There's no need to tease dissension between them right now. Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin are tag team champions. Why are they fighting each other? It doesn't make any sense. These guys right now, while they're all paired up, are actually getting used. And I can guarantee you if this stable starts to fall apart, these guys will go away and fade back to nothing once again, which would be a huge shame because look at how talented Shelton Benjamin is. Shelton Benjamin re-signed with them in like 2016, 2017 or something like that. The guy did nothing except like 2 little one-off story spots with Brock Lesnar, which was incredible as well, but then it just went nowhere. Next up, Cedric Alexander has been extremely talented. He's always performed very well, and he's been lost in the shuffle for a very long time. So to see them get broken up and tease this stuff, I just don't like it. I think the Hurt Business has a lot more longevity left in it. I think they can go a lot longer with that group. So teasing them breaking up just kind of sucks to me. Watch Gulak, Ricochet, and Truth all be in the Royal Rumble. Yeah, right. Charles says, I hope they troll us on WWE Backstage and say number 30 is tune in for the Royal Rumble Sunday. Oh, people would be so pissed. People would be so pissed. Yeah, so Chef says 16 out of 30 sounds stacked. So there's still 14 people that it could be. So could have some decent surprises for sure. And actually, that probably goes to 17 because Edge declared himself, and I don't believe he was in that picture. Let me double check. Yeah, he wasn't. So 17. Oh, got it. Where'd it go? Okay. Joe Pop says Braun and Seth return. I could definitely see that. Daryl says off topic question, Kong versus Godzilla. I have not seen the trailer for that. I want to watch it. I've never really been a big fan in the Godzilla stuff or Kong stuff, but I do want to watch the Godzilla, what is it called? King of Monsters or something. It's on HBO Max. I think I might watch it tonight. Raw's bad. I completely agree. Okay, let me see here. Let me try to catch up here. We're a little behind. King says, AOW, wouldn't you think we would just compare Edge's surprise entrance to last year like we already saw it? Yes, I mean, I can agree that you've already seen it, but it still hypes you up. I'm sure most of us already knew that Edge was going to be at the Royal Rumble. I would have bet money that Edge was going to be at the Royal Rumble, but it's the element of surprise, man. Now we all just go, well, knew that was going to happen, you know, as opposed to just being in that moment with it hitting. It doesn't matter if there's fans there or not, because we still have to watch this at home. So it should still be entertaining. It should still be good stuff. And it's, or sorry. I should say good shit. So I hate announcing everything. I hate it. Cliche just says, how could you not like the ending? It has us wondering what's going to happen at the Rumble, and a good way to not have Alexa lose momentum. I completely disagree, because it's dumb. Like, putting people in championship matches just to have them end in a disqualification is so overdone. It's so overdone. And I talk about, I swear to God, I literally talk about this on every single show that I do. And I always say there's a time and a place for everything. I really believe that. We've seen, how many hokey finishes did we see tonight? Like literally a million. So Randy Orton showing up and causing a no contest, a disqualification, whatever you want to call it, at the end, it's frustrating. It's very frustrating. Yes, it's cool that Randy Orton RKO'd Alexa Bliss. It's very exciting, but at the same time, it's just the same old formula over and over and over and over again. I thought the antics for the match were entertaining. Alexa Bliss riding the rocking horse, Alexa Bliss changing back to the goddess, and then, you know, to this new darker character of herself. I thought it was entertaining, but it's very frustrating when literally everything ends in a distraction, roll up, and a disqualification. It kills me. Kills me. Flash says Team Godzilla. Yeah, I'll have to watch it. I'll have to watch it for sure. Okay, let's see. Charles says, are you hyped for the Women's Rumble? Because there's a lot of rumored surprises. Yes, I am. I am very hyped. I love both the men's and the Women's Royal Rumbles. Lots and lots of fun. Hopefully they're good. Hopefully they're good. Ryan says, hope nobody else from Retribution is thrown in the Men's Rumble. Would be a waste of entrance. Oh, I would imagine they will be. I would imagine. Who knows, man? Remember last year where all the entries were basically announced before the Rumble? Yeah, I don't like that stuff. I don't like it. I really prefer to have most of it be a surprise. To be honest, like I like the element of surprise. I think it makes the Royal Rumble way more entertaining because now we have 17 people announced, right? So now we're going to see, okay, so we're probably going to have these lists. I think I usually work off of a list for the Royal Rumble for the people. So I'm like, okay, this person has been in, this person hasn't been in. So, okay, there's 3 people left. And these 2 have already been are still in it but haven't come out yet, or like, oh, there's 3 left and oh look, there's 3 people left, so there's no more surprises. Kind of takes away from it. So I personally would prefer that most of the Royal Rumble stayed secretive. Daryl says, dude, I love when Randy RKO's the women's wrestler. Shit is funny and enjoyable at the same time. Yeah, it's great. It's the disqualifications, the hokey finishes are just so frustrating, and they're very predictable. I think most people knew that this was going to happen tonight. I saw a bunch of people mentioning it as well. So I don't know. Leroy says, how would you feel if Conor McGregor joined WWE? It would be very interesting. I'm not quite sure how I would feel about that. I guess it would just be where he fit in, I guess. And if he could wrestle. If people can wrestle, I have no problem with them coming in. I had a huge problem with Pat McAfee coming into NXT and wrestling with Adam Cole. I didn't think that he belonged in there. I didn't think it was necessary for him to be there. But he showed up, man. He put on one hell of a match. He earned my respect. That's for sure. So who knows? If these people want to become wrestlers and they want to wrestle in the WWE, who cares if they can wrestle? If they can wrestle. If they can't wrestle, go away, train, do what you have to do, and come back when you're ready. Okay, let's see. Where am I here? Anthony says the bell did not ring when Randy showed up. Yeah, I don't quite understand that. The bell, they did not ring for a disqualification or anything after Randy hit Alexa Bliss with an RKO. So I'm not quite sure where they're going with that here. Oni says, let me ask you, if you had the reins over tonight's show, what specifically would you have planned instead? What matches and segments? Well, I mean, you can't really just book a match out of thin air. But I would have exhibition matches where people can get wins and losses. You would continue your stories. You'd rotate your roster. You wouldn't have the same people out there wrestling every single week. I certainly wouldn't have someone like Gold on my roster, my show, period, he would be banished completely. Also, I saw that dirtbag Humberto Carrillo was on the show tonight. I would not I would not have him on my show either. He's got to go. All right. He's got to go. That scumbag Humberto Carrillo does not belong on Raw. He does not belong chasing our truth for the 24/7 championship. The 24/7 championship is extremely prestige compared to Humberto Carrillo. That is like the holy grail here. He needs to get locked back up. I don't know who let this man's out of prison, but he needs to go back immediately. Immediately. So yeah, I mean, there's lots of stuff. There's lots of stuff. I would have also been building up feuds for the Royal Rumble. There's no reason that Matt Riddle had to be every single member of the Hurt Business to earn a shot at the United States Championship whatsoever. The tag team champions took L's ahead of the Royal Rumble. Is there even a Raw Tag Team Championship match at the Royal Rumble? I have no idea. Probably not. Because they don't care. They don't care. So stuff like that, you really need to work in feuds. You need to work in storylines that make sense. When you have feuds and storylines, you don't need to harp on them every single week in the same fashion that you did the last week. If Matt Riddle and Bobby Lashley have a match this week on Raw, they don't need to have one next week. They can have some sort of promo. They can have some sort of interaction, but they don't need to have matches. And that is what WWE tends to do more than not, is just repeat matches. Also tonight we saw the first match of the night. It happened 3 times. 3 times. Like who in their right mind booked that? Come on, we saw that happen twice tonight. Twice tonight. Oni says, man, I remember back in the day when they just have random exhibitions and let rivalries build off of those. Whenever the show has more wrestling, it's always better without fail. Exactly. Exactly, man. People, that's why I don't think that you should swear by wins and losses, but they should be somewhat important in the scenario here where it's important to get some wins. It's important to not have some losses. So you could just have these random one-off exhibition matches that don't make sense necessarily. Sheamus and John Morrison certainly did not make sense tonight in any fashion to me. But if it's an exhibition match to give someone some more W's, then hey, it is what it is. It works, right? Then you can build off of there. More wrestling, the easier it is to book, the less bullshit you have to do, the less stuff. WWE is really weird about not just going to commercial these days. They have to do something to lead into the commercial. So it's just stuff like that, man. Stuff like that. No Hack says, what did Humberto do? He, I don't know. He's chasing like R-Truth around for the 24/7 championship. Edwin says, Andrade going to have the best return of the night. Man, I hope so. I hope so, dude. I hope Andrade comes back for the Royal Rumble. I will be so hyped for that. Unfortunately for him, he's on Raw. So I don't know how good that's going to go for him at all. Yikes. Yikes, yikes, yikes. Okay, so let's get into this Peacock discussion here really quick because we are 36 minutes in and we have not even talked about the show yet, but that's just the way we do it here, man. That is just the way that we do it here. All right. I mean, I guess that's what happens when you have a pretty lackluster show as well. No one really gives a shit. Sorry. Obi James says, why can't WWE do picture in picture? I don't know. To be honest. I just don't understand why you can't just go to a commercial. Sysis Gaming says Raw has 22 men and 8 women currently. Interesting. So they had like literally almost the whole entire women's division out there. That's crazy. No, don't speak about the show. I already saw the Insta post. Yeah, right. I mean, God, last time the show was this bad, we were talking about Fall Guys and Roblox and Berea Tacos. Might have to be another one of those nights. Anyways, here let's talk about this whole Peacock thing here really quick. So Today, Peacock acquired the exclusive streaming rights to more than 17,000 hours worth of new and original content from the WWE Network. I believe that this deal was a $1 billion deal for 5 years. So, this, if I know what I'm talking about here, this only affects people in the United States. If you're not in the United States, I believe you will still have access to the WWE Network. It will still be there in the way that you use it today. Just people in the United States will not have access to it. Now, Peacock has 2 different tiers here for plans. They have one that is $4.99 that gives you everything, all content for WWE, and all of the content that is currently on Peacock as well, which is like SVU. And I think I heard, did someone say The Office was on Peacock as well? So you get access to all of that for $4.99, but you will have commercials. If you do not want commercials, you can opt for the more expensive plan that is $9.99, which is called the Premium Plus plan. So for $9.99, which is the same price as the current WWE Network, you get the same thing, but an ad-free experience. So you get the entire WWE Network library, plus you also get everything that is on Peacock for $9.99. Now, if you are an Xfinity customer, I believe you get the first plan for free included. So for me, I do have Xfinity for my TV and internet. So I get the $4.99 one is included already with my billing. I don't have to pay anything else for it. I have access to it right now. If you want the ad-free experience and you do have Xfinity as well, it's just an extra $5. So you just have to pay the difference. So if you're paying for WWE Network right now, come March, when this all changes over, you can cancel your WWE Network subscription in March and get a Peacock subscription for $4.99 or $9.99. So for me, this is a win. I'm saving $5 a month, and I will be getting an ad-free experience on Peacock. And this happens sometime in March. So at the end of March, we will have a Fastlane pay-per-view, which will be the first one on there, and then WrestleMania will be included. Obi James says, does the current WWE Network subscription transfer over? No, I do not think so. I don't think so. I'm not sure if we'll have to go in and cancel our WWE Network subscriptions ourselves, or if they will just go away or not. So that's something that we'll have to keep an eye out for and update as more information comes out, because we're still a little ways away from it. I saw someone say Peacock is a bootleg Netflix. That's weird. I mean, I hate all of these streaming services. I think that it's probably going to get worse before it gets better in terms of this. We kind of saw this with music for a little bit. At least I did. I pay not too much attention to like mainstream stuff, but I do watch like the Joe Budden podcast, and I keep up to date with like those guys. And so there was a lot of exclusive stuff going between like Apple Music with like Drake, and then and Chance the Rapper, and then like people going over on Tidal and doing exclusive music there. So I do think that these streaming platforms are probably going to get worse before they get better. Peacock. So we have Peacock, we have HBO Max, you have Netflix, you have WWE Network that is getting, thrown into Peacock. You have the DC Network, you have the Disney Network, you have, I'm sure I'm forgetting some. Am I forgetting any? Is that all? I don't know. There's a lot of them, though. There are a ton of them. So hopefully this will like all change in the future. Hulu, Sisis Gaming, yes, Hulu is one of them as well. I have most of them, and it sucks. So hopefully, I don't know, but I do see this as being a win for everyone here. The WWE Network is not very good. It logs you out constantly. The interface is terrible. So I haven't used the Peacock stuff yet. We've watched SVU episodes on our Comcast box, but that's all built into it. So I'm not quite sure what their interface looks like. I'll probably look into it a little bit tonight, but hopefully this is better for everyone. I think this is a win. You either spend the same amount or you save $5 and you get access to a bunch of other crap as well, right? So I don't see any problem with it. It offloads probably a ton of money and ton of work for WWE. They're still going to keep the WWE network up for people who are outside of the US. So I saw that they'll have to manage, like, I think they have around 2 million subscribers now. And afterwards, after moving out of the US, they will probably have about 400 or 500. Oni says the UI for Peacock is pretty solid. Okay, perfect. That's awesome. I've been watching a lot of HBO Max stuff lately, and their interface is god awful, man. It's so terrible. Chloe says Cartoon Network. Cartoon Network has their own streaming platform? Really? No way. I thought they were going to be a part of someone. Wow, Cartoon Network app. Oh, looks like they might be on Hulu. Jesus. Kevin says, so will WWE Network not work anymore? No, come like March 18th or something like that, it will not work for you if you are in the US. You'll have to download Peacock and you will have to sign up for that. Big Chicken says, did you see WWE on Fox will be spoiling the Royal Rumble entrance 1, 2, and 30? Yes. Yes, I did. Yeah, so the WWE app will be no more, correct, for people in the United States. Vange says, just came here to tell you that Seth is going to come on SmackDown and spoil his return. By the way, good night. Thank you for tuning in, Vange. I appreciate it, man. I hope that doesn't happen. I saw first says, how WWE still makes $1 billion for a shitty product. Does Peacock NBC has no research team? I see the low ratings and how the ship is sinking. Bad investment. So I've seen a lot of people say that. And while I do agree that their content today is not very good, I don't see this as a bad deal for Peacock. Why? Because they're instantly gaining 1.5 million subscribe. Well, that is if everyone actually does transfer over, or if existing people, don't already have it. So in a perfect world, they'd be gaining about 1.5 million new subscribers. So probably take off like 50% of that, you think, for people who already have Peacock and people who won't get Peacock instead. So 750,000 subscribers right off the bat for stuff like that. And they're just going to be watching content. Plus, a lot of people are probably going to opt for the $4.99 one because some people don't care about ads. So not only would you be paying $4.99 for your subscription, but you'd be watching ads, which people are paying them to deliver as well. So I see it as a win for them. It may not make them as much money up front that they like, but we've seen companies like this take these, I think they're called loss leaders, where they know that they're going to take a loss, but they do it because in the long run, I think Amazon still to this day does not make a profit on paper. So just stuff like that. Netflix, I don't think was very profitable, if at all profitable, for like the first 10 years or something like that. So I see them acquiring this for the content alone. This is a lot of content. This is a lot of watch hours. So I don't know the ins and outs of how to monetize people watching content on your network or not. I don't know how that works, but I see this as being a W for them. I do. I saw first says ESPN dropped WWE like a bad habit. Yeah, or maybe Peacock just wanted to spend more, And I think that here's something interesting to think about. As we are in this scenery where ratings are continuously declining for Raw is pretty stagnant, it's not growing. It's definitely declining. They've hit record lows this year. NXT is pretty sturdy, and SmackDown is pretty sturdy at the moment. But I think what eventually is going to happen is those shows will probably get absorbed into some sort of streaming platform. Because guess what? all of those problems magically disappear. Every single one of those ratings problems just magically disappear. You can't get those numbers. We don't know the numbers for pay-per-view streams that WWE has. No one knows because they're all network subscribers. So things go a little bit different. So we could be in this era where it doesn't matter how many people are watching Raw, NXT, or SmackDown. It just matters how many people are subscribed overall. If that makes sense. They clearly don't give a shit about their product and what people think about it. So I can only imagine that maybe they're doing it on purpose to drive things down, to maybe get USA or Fox pissed at them. Maybe try to lower the value of them so they can get them on said streaming platforms. I could definitely see something like that happening in the future. And I saw a lot of people talking about this today, about being worried because I think on ESPN Plus, someone was talking about ESPN Plus. They said that you have to actually pay for pay-per-views. And I cannot see anyone going back to doing that on any WWE platform. I know that for old school people, they can still go on their cable provider and they can still rent WWE pay-per-views like normal and pay like the $30 for them or whatever. But the hardcore fans that watch WWE week in and week out, we know the product. I don't think very many people would be willing to pay any money for a WWE pay-per-view, to be honest. For me, most of the pay-per-views aren't even worth the $10 network subscription that I'm paying. It's not often that I go back and watch content that's archived. So when I don't do that, I'm essentially just paying $10 for a pay-per-view. So I don't see them changing their model for that whatsoever. If they do, there's tons of platforms that are illegally streaming Raw, NXT, SmackDown, and pay-per-views. I can only imagine that those websites would see a lot more traffic. And if WWE converts to people having to buy pay-per-views, then it will be public knowledge of how many people buy those pay-per-views. And I'm assuming that they don't want that out there. I'm assuming they don't want that. Flash says, even if Raw is crap, people see the other stuff in WWE Network, so it's a win-win for both parties. Yeah. Like I said, I think this is a content play, I think 100%. And there's tons of stuff on the WWE Network that's really good, even from back in the day. You know, you can go back and watch Raw from its inception, or SmackDown all the way through. You can go watch WCW. I think they have ECW on there now as well. Tons and tons and tons of stuff. Ride Along is enjoyable. I'm just looking at this picture here. You know, the 365s or whatever, those are super good. I like those as well. The Chronicles have been pretty good. So there's a lot of good content on there, aside from their daily shows being garbage. So Ryan says, in terms of streaming, I got Netflix, Hulu, HBO Max, and Amazon Prime. I also have Disney Plus, but I might cancel it because I never use it. Dude, you should check out WandaVision. WandaVision's really good. Really good. I don't have Hulu, but I do have Amazon Prime as well. And I have the DC Universe streaming service as well. I would not spend $1 for this shit. Yeah, I feel you, Nova. I feel you, man. I don't think that many people would. Ishan says, tell the return which you now accept. What? Can you reword that, Ishan? Big Chicken says, I've seen a lot of WWE streams on Twitch that haven't gotten taken down. I know, it's crazy. I saw one not too long ago. I think someone shared it online. It was a guy who said that he was playing WWE 2K. So he had the live feed of Raw up, but he had himself green screened in with a controller, and he was acting like he was playing the game, but it was literally just Monday Night Raw on the screen. I was like, wow, really? Wow, okay. Oni says, I'm a lot more inclined to just pay $4.99 for WrestleMania and then cancel the subscription after the show. Then I am a hunt for a buffering illegal stream. Yeah, I think if they charge full prices for pay-per-views, I think most people would just illegally stream them. I do. I think that's the reality. People are more tech savvy than ever now, and it's literally a Google search, man. Like, you can literally just Google it in and it'll take you right to them. So I mean, it is what it is, and they have to be smarter than that, right? You know, there's always a way around it. You know, pirating music was huge. Pirating music was like one of the biggest problems in the world for so long. And for me, when they announced Apple Music, like I pay for Apple Music now. I think it's $10, $9.99 as well a month. I can listen to whatever the hell I want, whenever I want. It's easy. Like, so you don't have to download anything. You don't have to transfer anything over. For phones, you just put them in. They give you radio stations. They give you favorites. So it's like, they need to find something like that if they want to stop people from illegally streaming. There needs to be a better way. I don't know what that looks like, but I don't know. There have been teases of AEW going to HBO Max. AEW have been promoting it too. I would love if AEW went to HBO Max because I get HBO Max for free because of my AT&T phone plan. But at what capacity would they be going to HBO Max? Would it be Dynamite? Would it be Dynamite airing on HBO Max? Would it be the pay-per-views on HBO Max? So the one thing that would bother me the most is having a streaming platform for one thing and then having to do something else on the other. So if you could watch AEW Dynamite on HBO Max, that would be cool. But if you had to go to BR Live to or Fight TV to buy the pay-per-views, that would be kind of frustrating. So it would for me, it would have to be all of the content. It would have to be all the content. Marcel says Dynamite and pay-per-view. Ooh, I would love that. I would love that, man. If I didn't have to like see, man, I wish that these shows would go on streaming platforms as well so that I didn't have to do all of this bullshit to watch these shows, because I'm on the West Coast, so obviously the shows for me don't air until they end in the East Coast. So I have to watch streams of them, and I can watch AEW Dynamite because my grandma has DirecTV, so I'm able to log into her DirecTV account and watch it through there. So it's generally good quality and stuff, but it's a real nightmare having to do all of this stuff just to watch these shows. Oni says, Detective AOW got that LimeWire on deck. Oh, God, man. I haven't had LimeWire since I was, like, in middle school. Whew. The memories. The memories, man. I'll never forget LimeWire. I was so pissed when I was a kid. I was, allegedly, was trying to watch Super Troopers, okay? And allegedly spent like a week getting it, only for me to allegedly play it, and it was not Super Troopers. It was allegedly Harry Potter, and it took a week. It was terrible. I think that was the last time I did that. It's crazy how far we've come in internet. Ishan says, do you think Brock is going to return at the Royal Rumble? I don't think so. It would be a huge surprise, though. It'd be a huge surprise. Shelva says, hey, AW just got off work. How's it going? I'm doing good, man. Hope you had a good day at work. We're kind of just chilling right now. I mean, the show was pretty bad, so we're just kind of chilling. I saw it first says AEW simply plugging HBO Max during Dynamite this week because their parent company wanted them to. Very possible. Very possible. Torrented music, movies, and good WWE content. Those were the days. You remember when you had to spend $45 for a pay-per-view and then you had to go to like Hollywood Video or Blockbuster and you had to rent one of the old WWE VHSs or DVDs? God. Warner Media sent down orders to plug their new streaming service, so that's exactly what happened. I could see that happening as well. I did bring up something. It was a Reddit post about someone saying that they want AEW to put Dynamite on HBO Max, but I'm not quite sure. I don't really want to go through and read it. There's a lot of text there. Where's Seth Rollins? When will he return? I think a lot of people are expecting him to show up at the Royal Rumble. Charles says, I don't care if there's no hype for the Rumble, but I'm pumped for the Rumble. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. The Royal Rumble is always going to be an attraction no matter what. So I'm aside from the Royal Rumble matches, though, I just wish that they would have done something a little bit better to promote these shows to make them more interesting, because they really have not done it. Obi James says Hollywood Video. Man, that was a throwback. Yeah. Dude, like, I used to live really close to a Hollywood Video that had a Game Crazy attached to it, if you guys are old enough to know what that is. And it was crazy. Like, I remember going in there and renting video games and like trading in video games when I was really young. It was crazy. It was crazy. But it's amazing that, like, if you wanted to go see a movie, you had to drive to Hollywood Video or Blockbuster Video, and you had to go and hope that they have it, you know, the big back wall with like 100 movies on it. And if they didn't have it, you know, you were pissed, and you're like, can you check the returns, please? Please, I bet someone returned it. And then some asshole didn't rewind it, so you got to go home and rewind it. Oh, that's the worst. The worst. Now you just go to netflix.com or watch.wwe.com or hbomax.com, and it's all good. All good. I saw first, this is a recent, AEW did an entire show surrounded on HBO Max a few months ago. Yeah, I believe that they did have HBO Max ring aprons a while ago. The good old Blockbuster, yes. Back in the day. Chloe says, my AOW Hackerman 5000 shirt is almost finished. You have to send me a picture of it when you're done. You go to a flea market and buy a WWE pay-per-view from the back of a car. Oh, man, that's awesome. That's great. Rented all my games from Blockbuster when I was a kid. Those were the good old days. Oh, man, they were. I remember when the Nintendo 64 came out. We had, when I was younger, I lived like pretty close to my friends. So like we were, like our little neighborhood, we had 4 houses like really close to each other, and we were all friends. And one of the ones that was friends with my parents was really cool. And he took us to Hollywood Video, and we rented a Nintendo 64, which was crazy that you could just go there and rent an entire system. So we rented a Nintendo 64 so that we could play GoldenEye. Oh man, and that was so good. GoldenEye on Nintendo 64 was legendary. Legendary. Does AEW have a site or something to watch older Dynamite shows or pay-per-views? They should get on that. No, they do not. Not to my knowledge. I think you would just have to watch them on whatever cable company you own. So Xfinity, you'd have to go on demand or something. I think if you live outside of the US, you can actually subscribe to Fight TV. They have a like AEW package where you can watch the show on there every week. I'm assuming that they probably have a backlog. Rented all my games from Blockbuster when I was a kid. Those were the good old days. Renting games was awesome. Marcel says, Fight TV, you can watch AEW old content. Yeah, but you have to be outside of the US, right? I don't think you can be in the US. Because even when I, for the Impact stuff that I do with Fight, it's for everyone. But unfortunately, the AEW pay-per-views and stuff are only for out of the United States people. So it sucks because I have to pay for them still. And I can't get a hold of the people at BR Live. Can't get a hold of them. Fight TV, with a VPN. Yeah, I used to have a VPN. I might have to try that. Love it. Chloe says, I love the post shows where you talk about anything but Raw. Yeah, I mean, who cares at this point, right? I mean, I'm definitely going to go over it, but who knows? I guess maybe we should probably get started on that. But I don't know. This show was just so uneventful that it's like, really? Like, I don't know. Is the WWE app will not exist anymore. So the WWE network will still exist, but just not for people inside the United States. Marcel says, can you skip the Raw review? This is better. Well, I mean, I'm assuming that at some point people are going to want to know some things. So we'll go through it quickly. And then we can chat for a little bit as well afterwards. I don't mind. Napster started it all. Yeah, Napster was crazy back in the day, man. Napster was crazy. If you had to bet, who would you predict to win the Royal Rumble? I got Daniel Bryan and Bianca Belair on my Royal Rumble. Pretend that we did the review. Let's talk about the Nintendo 64 and PS1. Oh, dude, I love Nintendo 64 and PS1 so much, so much. I've always been a huge gaming person my entire life. So even when I was like really young, I would sneak downstairs at night and play Super Mario Bros on the Nintendo. And I actually had an Atari as well. I can't remember which one because there's quite a few, but had an Atari. Man, that was a lot of fun. It's so crazy how different games used to be back in the day from how they are now. I remember playing Pong on an Atari that was just like a little knob with left and right on it. And now you got, God, how many buttons are on this controller? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And the Elite controller has 18, 19, 20, 21. Best wrestling games ever put out on those two legendary consoles. Yeah, man. Daryl says, on your gaming channel, can you post Batman Arkham Knight gameplay? Basically like a let's play or a walkthrough. I've been contemplating playing Batman Arkham Knight. Well, the Arkham series. Hopefully this doesn't ruin my stream, but I'll see which ones I have really quick. I don't know if you guys are gamers. I don't know if any of you are or not, but the Epic Game Launcher is pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie. I have not I have not paid for a single game, okay, and I have like 100 games on here that I've just been every Thursday they give you a free game for everyone. So like you just download the Epic Launcher and you could just download a game every single Thursday. And I have Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Knight all on PC. So at some point I would like to play them. No Hack says, are you getting Gotham Knights? Yes, probably, because I absolutely love Red Hood. So yeah, probably. I was a GameCube and PS2 guy growing up. Yeah, I loved the GameCube too, and my PS2. I've mostly had like everything. I love the GameCube though. That, what was it, WrestleMania 17 game or something, whatever they had Deadpool's Tearing Away as the theme song. Man, that was so good. So good. Also for GameCube, I just bought Super Mario Bros 3D that has Super Mario 64 and Super Mario Sunshine on it, because Super Mario Sunshine was one of my favorite games. So I'm very excited to play that. Very excited to play that. And that'll be all going on the gaming channel. That will all be there. I actually bought Wrestling Empire the other day as well, and I set up my character. I used my light heavyweight guy from the New Japan, the Fire Pro series that I did, the light heavyweight one. So it's Andreas Figueroa. That will be my playthrough on that. Still got your SNES and it works. Wow, that's crazy, man. That is crazy. I got rid of all my old consoles. I got rid of them all. So all I have right now is the Switch. I have a OG PlayStation 4. The original one, and I have an Xbox X. Not the Series X, the X, the one before that. Def Jam Fight for New York was crazy. That was a good game. That was a good one. Chloe says, I can't wait to tell my kids back in the day we didn't have a PS21. We had GameCube. Yes. Right? We had to download games back in my day. We had to have hard drives and discs and all of this nonsense. Quick, someone bring up Carne Asada Pizza. We need to keep the Raw review busy. Oh, man. Carne Asada Pizza. I'm just getting baited here by chat. Just getting baited, man. That Carne Asada Pizza was good, though. You know, we went to have the quesadilla pizza again, and they're closed on Sundays. It was very sad. We were like getting ready to go, and because it's like 20 minutes away from where we live. Little food truck. And I was like, we were going to go the week before, but they sold out of them. So we couldn't go. So then we were going to go on Sunday. And I'm like, well, you should make sure that they're not sold out at this time, or at least they're open. Nope. Can't believe it. They were closed. Hurt my feelings. Fell for the bait. Yeah. Yeah, it comes out of a food truck, man. Dude, food trucks, don't sleep on food trucks, man. Food trucks are the shit. Food trucks are amazing. Raphael says, I didn't tune in to be made hungry. It's late at night and now I crave pizza. Yeah, I don't think that food is where I want to go. I don't want to make myself hungry either. I don't want to be making like some midnight Taco Bell run or something here. But yeah, don't sleep on food trucks. Don't sleep on food trucks. We get a lot of good food from food trucks here. Pineapple pizza is the best. Oh, you might start a war, man. You might start a war. Can we talk about how Nia Jax killed Dana Brooke? Yeah, that was brutal. That was brutal. Absolutely brutal. Yeah, food trucks are the best, man. Food trucks are the best. They're so good. And usually they're pretty cheap too. Ranch wings tonight. I actually had wings too, but they were just regular wings. Anthony says, what happened to the Q&A on Sunday? Ugh. I've been caught. I was gonna do it, but I don't know. We were busy and didn't get home till later, and I was too pooped trying to do it and catch up with my other work. So, and then I was looking at my schedule for this week, and I was like, damn, it's a busy week. So we'll have to do it the next one. They always have the best fries. Oh yeah. All right. I'm done. I'm done with you guys. I'm done with you guys baiting me about food. All right, let's talk about the show a little bit. All right, let's talk about the show for a little bit, and then once we get done with the show, or even during the show, who cares? We can talk about other things. So we are 1 hour and 10 minutes in. Welcome to your Monday Night Raw post-show review. Yeah, it was a terrible show. Okay. It was a terrible show, and Drew McIntyre is back, so of course your boy WWE champion Drew McIntyre kicked off tonight's show. Chloe says, have you had the loaded fries from Wingstop? No, I've never been to Wingstop before, but there is one close to me, I believe. There's one close to me, so I think we're gonna try it at some point. But I hate eating wings because they're like not filling, like they're delicious, but you have to eat like 30 of them. So I saw it first as another filler show. Yeah, which is a real shame, because it's the go home show for the Royal Rumble, man. It's crazy. Do we have to talk about the show? We could just talk about random stuff. That'd be way more entertaining. Yeah, I definitely want to talk about the show here. I do. Just briefly. I don't think we'll talk about it too much, but I do want to go into it. I'll order you Domino's pizza. Oh God, too late, man, too late. So mad that they're gonna spoil number 30. Who asked for that, and for what? To get some cheap views for WWE Backstage. I completely agree, man. I completely agree. Also for numbers 1 and 2 for the women's. I think 1 and 2 are just as important. It's very frustrating just to get those views for Backstage. And you know, the thing that sucks about that too is that if they're doing this to test the waters to bring WWE Backstage back, they're just inflating the numbers when they're not going to have those numbers regularly. They can't bait people every single week to watch the show. So who knows? And you know, we talk about this all the time with social media and stuff. It honestly doesn't even matter if they do it on the show or not, because all you have to do is check your Twitter or your Instagram and someone's sharing it anyways. So I don't know. They need to figure out a better way to do stuff like this. And I think that not announcing your Royal Rumble entrance is the best thing to do. I think it's terrible. Watching Raw is like watching Naruto. A bunch of filler till we finally get to the good stuff. I've never seen Naruto before, but I have watched Dragon Ball Z, so if it's anything like that, I feel you on that. 30 episodes to get to the fight that they've been building up the whole time. Flash says, Detective AEW, I gotta go. See you on Wednesday. Thank you for AEW NXT, and count with me for the Discord stream. Okay, sounds good, man. Thank you for tuning in. I will see you on Friday. Have a good night. Everyone knew that Edge is gonna be at the Royal Rumble, so it didn't even matter if he spoiled it. It did, because there's a difference between having someone just show up on screen and be like, oh, well, I knew that's gonna happen, and then just the excitement of just hearing the music. That's what we're gonna miss that now. So now it's just gonna be, you're just gonna hear Edge's music and you're like, okay, well, hey, that's exciting. There's Edge. Where it's like, you know, as before, it's like, damn, Edge, like, oh man, I thought he was gonna be here, but I wasn't for sure. So yeah, I'll tell you the entrance. You don't have to watch WWE Backstage. I'm certainly not gonna watch WWE Backstage. Well, no, actually, Saturday at. Okay, so yeah, I probably won't be watching Backstage because I won't be home. It's on at 5 p.m. for me. So I guess that's one thing to talk about before we get too far into the show here. Earlier today, I did release a thing about the schedule for this week. It's something that I might do in the future from now on about future Endeavor shows. So today was a busy week. I was going to start picking up Impact this week as well to cover and do post shows for, but with all the other stuff that was going on, I decided to hold off a little bit. So for Monday, and also I want to test the NXT stuff on Thursday as well, but for this week, I would have been doing stuff every single day. So I kind of held off for a little bit. So this week we'll have Monday. Obviously, we're doing the Raw post show right now. Tomorrow, I might tune in a little bit to Impact to see what's going on, but don't expect full coverage of that or a post show. Not yet, not tomorrow. Wednesday, we will have the AEW Dynamite post show and NXT coverage. Thursday, I'll be chilling. Friday, we'll have a SmackDown post show. Once the SmackDown post show is over, I'm going to record a Royal Rumble predictions video that will go live sometime in the morning on Saturday. That way, if people want to tune in, they can tune in and check it out, see my predictions, and then later, probably around the same time that we always do these streams, around 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, we will do a community Royal Rumble predictions show. And I'm hoping for that show, we'll go over my predictions as well, and then go over your guys's as well. And this is going to be the first time that we'll have Discord set up and ready to go. So I'll make sure that I promote that this week so that if you guys want to be involved in that, then you can. So my hope is that you guys can hop in the voice chat if you want, and you can talk to chat as well with your predictions. You can tell us what you're thinking, why you're thinking it, and stuff like that. I think it'll be pretty cool. I think that will be a next level thing. I don't think anyone's doing something like that right now. So I think that'll be a lot of fun. So that will be on Saturday. And then on Sunday, we will have the Royal Rumble post show, obviously following the Royal Rumble. So pretty busy week. Pretty busy week here. Even in Naruto, the final battle between Naruto and Sasuke, it was a 5-episode difference. Oh, God. Jesus. Raphael says there's so much exposition in it. Someone will win a fight and will explain what they did for 5 minutes. Oh, man. I feel that. I feel that. Okay, so let's do this. Let's get some woos. There we go. All right, I'm ready. Tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw kicked off with WWE Champion Drew McIntyre. Glad to see him back in the ring. Glad to see that he was healthy. He did say that at the beginning he lost his taste or something. He didn't have a taste, something like that. But he said luckily it didn't affect him very much, and he was back to training within 4 days. So good to see that he was fine. He was able to overcome this coronavirus, this COVID-19. Don't wish that upon anyone. So good to see him back. Good to see him healthy as well. And of course, when Drew McIntyre is out in the ring, your boys, The Miz and John Morrison, are going to head out and tell some children's jokes. Make fun of people like children. So The Miz and John Morrison came out, poked, and made fun of these guys. And it was the same old, Really not much to talk about here until the one, the only Goldberg came out. Yeah, that's right. Your boy Goldberg came out to the ring, and he literally, okay, first of all, his entrance took forever. All right. This man's was gassed after doing his little punches and kicks with his pyro. This man comes into the ring and he says this. This is literally all he says. You, me, you're next. That's it. What an incredible promo. Like, really? That's it? Raphael says that thing they do where the Miz is like, correct. And then John Morrison does the same thing and they do it for like 5 different questions in a row. It makes me want to pull my hair out. Yeah, dude, they're like 2 8-year-old kids bullying. That's like what they are. Remember when Miz and Morrison had a real rap song? These guys are just crazy, man. Just crazy. Obi James says Drew dedicated the match to all the people who fought the virus, so he cannot lose now, right? That's true. I hope he doesn't lose, man. I don't know though. I don't know. It doesn't. It's not looking good. It's not looking good at all. It's really not. This little opening segment here ended up with Goldberg and Drew McIntyre hitting the Miz and John Morrison with some finishers here. So Goldberg hit a spear on one of them and Drew McIntyre hit the Claymore on the other one, and they just got in each other's faces. That was it. That was the opening to the show. I think it was like 10 minutes, 15 minutes or something like that. And it's so uneventful. This is why, one of the reasons why I say there's no hype for the Royal Rumble. Who's looking forward to watching Drew McIntyre versus Goldberg for the WWE Championship? Not very many people. Like, if you look at any of WWE socials, every single time they post a picture or mention Goldberg in anything whatsoever, everyone's just pissed off. And this isn't Goldberg just being a good heel. This is just people being tired of these old people coming in and not doing anything, you know, and taking the spotlight from people. Who knows? We've talked about this a couple of times, but I guess I'll mention it again here since we are on the road to the Royal Rumble. It is this Sunday. 2 outcomes that I could certainly see WWE doing, so prepare yourselves for them, is that we could see Goldberg defeat Drew McIntyre to become the WWE champion at the Royal Rumble, only for them to run the match back at WrestleMania. WrestleMania is supposed to have 25,000 fans in attendance. So I could see WWE being like, well, last year we wanted Drew McIntyre to win in front of a bunch of fans, but unfortunately we couldn't because of all that happened. So I could certainly see them running it back at WrestleMania, where Drew McIntyre would then go on to defeat Goldberg and win his WWE Championship back and be in front of fans. That would be a big deal. Chloe says, didn't I call them doing finishers to Miz and Morrison on your last post show? Shows how predictable WWE is. It really is. Like, a lot of the stuff is predictable these days. I was thankful that the Royal Rumble is this week and not like another week ahead, so that we didn't have to see some sort of Drew McIntyre and match versus the Miz and John Morrison or something. So I don't know. I could certainly see this happening. One of the other outcomes to look forward to that could possibly happen with WWE would be seeing Goldberg defeat Drew McIntyre and then somehow go on to face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania in a winner-take-all match. If it wasn't for the Royal Rumble match, I would easily be skipping this pay-per-view. Goldberg versus McIntyre question. Banks versus Carmella again. Charlotte and Asuka versus Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Even Reigns versus KO is predictable rematch. Yeah, so lots of rematches. Lots of rematches, man. Oni says, LOL, that'd require Goldberg to wrestle in the Elimination Chamber though, right? No. Not necessarily. They could have if whoever wins the Royal Rumble, let's say my pick, Daniel Bryan wins the Royal Rumble, and he challenges Roman Reigns, WWE, so that would tie up SmackDown's main event for WrestleMania. What WWE could do is have a Raw Elimination Chamber match and have the participants, whoever wins the match gets to go on to WrestleMania and challenge whoever the WWE champion is over on the Raw side. I would see them doing that. Obi James says, if anyone is familiar with Kid Behind a Camera, he had a video talking about The Rock winning the title against CM Punk, and it was literally just like gold now. Yep. I can see it, man. I can see it. I can see it right now. I can see Gold walking out with the WWE Championship at the Royal Rumble. And I say it so many times so that I'm prepared for it. Like you got to be prepared for it, because then when it happens, you can just look down and say, you know what, man, I'm ashamed. I knew it. I'm ashamed. I can't believe it. I can't believe they actually went through and did it. Instead of just being enraged and being like, how could they do this? How could they do this to us? So I'm fully prepared for it. You know, Chloe says the goal counter on 14. I'm all caught up now. Oh, that's not even bad. Go get a couple more in there. I mean, I guess we really haven't talked about the show, so I guess that's not that bad. I saw first says Gold will win to have Miz cash in, setting up a triple threat. That's also something else to think about. The Miz does have the Money in the Bank briefcase once again. So how's this going to work? One of the things that I thought that could happen is that during the match between Drew McIntyre and Gold, the Miz could cash in. Let's say both of the guys are down and he's looking in to get an advantage. So the Miz comes in, cashes in himself this time. It's all legit. And then I was thinking maybe have Gold beat the Miz, maybe get up, hit him with a spear, maybe a jackhammer. I'm not quite sure that Gold could hit Drew McIntyre with a jackhammer, to be honest. I'm not quite sure he could do it. So maybe he could do it on the Miz. Then you have Gold getting the win over the Miz. Then they could go the WWE route of saying, oh, well, Drew McIntyre never lost. You know, he looks strong. He deserves a rematch because he's not the one that lost the championship. And then you have the rematch at WrestleMania. So who knows? Who knows? It's still kind of unpredictable at this point what WrestleMania is going to look like. But realistically, who would challenge Goldberg? Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns? Be my guess. Oh, look, we have a sad boy in here. Yes, we still watch wrestling. And let's see, you can just go sit in timeout with your dunce cap, okay? Just go sit over there with your dunce cap, and when you're ready to be a good boy, you can come back, okay? You can come back and chat. Until then, enjoy your time out. Anthony says, but Goldberg can't even retain the title, so I don't get it. I don't know, man. I'm just going off of what I think. I'm just going off of what I think that they would possibly do. This is not how I would book a show ever, so I have Daniel Bryan winning. Retribution Alliance says, this guy deletes people. What a snowflake. Yeah. Yeah, thank you for the watch time, my friend. The only person that'll challenge Goldberg realistically is The Fiend, pointing at the WrestleMania with Alexa chanting, "You're next." I don't want to see it, man. I don't want to see it. The Fiend does not need to be in any sort of title picture whatsoever. He doesn't, especially coming back. Obviously, they're just going to run back the Randy Orton stuff. So who knows? Who knows if they can even stretch that out, because we're going to have the Royal Rumble, which I think is where everyone is kind of predicting that the Fiend will return. So we have Royal Rumble, we have Elimination Chamber, Fastlane, and then WrestleMania. So we have quite a lot of stuff for them to get through if Randy Orton is going to be taking on the Fiend. Another thing that was pitched around by WrestleVotes is The Fiend and Alexa Bliss versus Edge and Beth Phoenix. That could certainly be a thing. Not quite sure, though. Yeah, just a bunch of bored people with nothing to do, man. It's all good. Can't you hear in his voice, Retribution, he needs to blow his nose? Oh, so we have quite a few people here. Amazing. Thank you for the watch time. I appreciate it. Chova says, remember when WWE had WrestleMania planned out months ahead? You would think, right? You would think that WrestleMania would be planned. You would think that they would kind of form a a plan for WrestleMania like a year in advance or whatever, and then start working towards it. But it really seems like they're just trying to do it week by week. They don't really have any idea of what they're doing. They don't really know who they're going to get, who they're not going to get. They're still, WrestleFoots was rumoring that they're trying to get The Rock for this year's WrestleMania, which would be incredible, but like super short notice with no building of anything. So who knows, man? Who knows? It's just not good. The WWE Championship main event scene is terrible. It's terrible right now. Who knows if that will change after the Royal Rumble? I guess we'll find out when we figure out who wins it. AJ Styles would be a good choice. Shinsuke Nakamura, Cesaro, Daniel Bryan, Keith Lee. Wouldn't mind Keith Lee. Chloe says, I stopped watching Raw and started rewatching the Mortal Kombat Awards. Seemed way more interesting. I didn't even know there was Mortal Kombat Awards. Raphael says, hell, on my universe mode, I'm on SummerSlam and I already know what I want to do for WrestleMania. I literally put more care into my universe than they put into their televised show. That's pathetic. I know, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I don't understand. I don't understand it. They have to be like trying. They have to purposely be trying to put on terrible shows like this, because I don't know how anyone could see this and be like, wow, we did a great job this week. Congratulations, guys. Congratulations, team. We knocked it out of the park this week. WWE Monday Night Raw was a home run. Good job, everyone. Bonuses all around the table. Congratulations. Jeremy says Edge should face AJ at Mania. I would love to see that. I would. Anthony says The Rock will be on the next year WrestleMania because it's on Dallas. I heard that they wanted him for the Hollywood one, but that's 2023. So Big E will win the Rumble to complete his push. I wouldn't be mad at Big E winning it. Wouldn't be mad at that at all. The only thing that I wouldn't like is that he's the Intercontinental Champion. So I'm over the whole double champion stuff. It's overdone. Like, I don't want to see that anymore. Daryl says they're throwing shit on the wall and seeing what sticks. Yes they are. Are you are you the one that hadn't heard that before? If so, that's funny. Next up was the best night, or the best part of the entire show. I'm sure you guys were so excited for this. I knew everyone was just having a great old ball here. They were just loving Monday Night Raw here. We saw Charlotte Flair taking on Shayna Baszler. This match probably went 30 or 40 seconds until Charlotte Flair had Shayna Baszler inside the figure 4 leg lock. She was trying to put it into the figure 8, but she couldn't quite do it yet. And then we saw Big Oof come in and hit her with a leg drop, causing the match to end in a disqualification. And of course, they left. So after this, before they went to commercial, what ended up happening was Dana Brooke, Mandy Rose, and Lacey Evans came out and they started brawling. They were taking some notes from AEW this week. They were doing the AEW brawl here, and then they went to commercial. No Hack says, after hearing someone mention Andrade, I now really want Drew versus Andrade. I think it'd be really good. And you know, something that no one else is talking about either is Jinder Mahal and Drew McIntyre. I think that there's a feud to be had there. Jinder Mahal is back. He's ready to wrestle. He's fine. He's been fine for a couple of months, to my knowledge, and they haven't used him. He'll be on the Superstar Spectacle tomorrow. That was recorded on like Thursday or Friday or something, but other than that, he's just been sitting around doing nothing. So a Jinder Mahal and Drew McIntyre feud, I think, would be fantastic. Shelvis, wait. I'm a little behind here. Okay, everyone, WWE Universe mode is way more planned than a WWE feud. I already got Andrade feuding with Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship. That would be incredible. Raphael says, do you think that Keith Lee has COVID? Kind of suspicious that they haven't declared him for the Royal Rumble, and he's been completely absent from the past 2 shows. It's very, very possible. Maybe he doesn't have it, but it could be possible that he came into contact with someone that did, and they're just being cautious and quarantining. Very, very possible for that. So I don't think it's the end of the world too. I think that Keith Lee could probably show up as a surprise in the Royal Rumble. I think that'd be fine. I think The Fiend is on Raw Talk. What? Having The Fiend cannot be on Raw Talk. That wouldn't make any sense. We want new stars. I love all the legends and everything, but they are using legends as crutches because they can't build new stars. Yeah, I mean, you can't build new stars when this is what your show looks like. You know? You can't have these people taking 50-50 pins. You can't have people losing every week. You can't have people absent from the shows for 6 months, then do 13 weeks of squash matches. Jesus Christ. And then just to disappear. So, you know, it's rough, and they're in their own, they created this own problem. This is all their problem. They could easily change it just by having people wrestle good matches. That's all people want to see. And we have evidence of that. Heavily wrestling episodes of Raw and SmackDown that have heavily featured wrestling have had better ratings. The episode of Raw that had a 40-minute match between Drew McIntyre and, well, not necessarily 40 minutes, but with entrances and all of the commercials and stuff. Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre was 30-40 minutes long, and it was the highest third hour of Raw I've seen in forever. Retribution would never pull those numbers in the third hour. Raw Underground would never, ever pull those kind of ratings in the third hour. Who would have thought that all along, all you needed was some good old school, old fashioned wrestling? That's what the people want to see. It's not that hard. Not that hard. Could be dope if The Rock feuds with Roman to finish off the I'm a real heel head of the family. Yeah, I think that'd be amazing. I really think it would. Leroy says, who's watching Superstar Spectacle tomorrow morning? I am not. I've already read the results. It does not seem interesting to me whatsoever. I will not be covering Superstar Spectacle either. No posts from me about that. Oni says he wrestled McIntyre before he tested positive, so it'd be likely that he contracted it from Drew. Interesting. Tamver says, would love to see Seth Rollins versus Edge at WrestleMania. This match already has a story behind it. I'd be down to see Seth Rollins and Edge as well. Like I said earlier, I'm happy with Edge versus anyone as long as it's not Randy Orton. That's the only match I don't want to see. No more Edge versus Randy Orton. James says, do you think Becky Lynch should return? I mean, if she's ready to, sure. I would love to see Becky Lynch return. She's definitely missed. That's for sure. Ronda Rousey wins Women's Royal Rumble for a Mania main event match. I don't see Ronda Rousey coming back this year. Not for Royal Rumble. Rafael says, the only thing on last week's show that got any praise was Ricochet versus AJ Styles. The only long and good wrestling match on the show. There's more proof. Yeah, I mean, it's there. It exists. So I don't know why they're just pretending like we need all this other crap, because we really don't. Leroy says John Cena versus Edge, the final chapter at WrestleMania 37. That'd be a pretty big match. That would be a big match. Anthony says Jinder has not been in WWE since May 11th. That's crazy. That's quite a while. Anyways, here, when they came back from commercial, we had ourselves a 6-woman tag team match. And I'm going to assume that what happened here was a botch. But either way, it was very frustrating. It was very annoying to see, especially when we got Gold kick off the show here. Everyone's already frustrated. No one wants to see this shit. No one wants to see this garbage. Then they give us this first match here that ends in a disqualification and then restarts. So everyone's already on edge about it. Then Shayna Baszler gets counted out. She doesn't make it back in the ring for the 10 count. She's like kind of rolling into the ring on the 10 count. Like it's pretty iffy, to say the least. So I'm not sure if this was a botch or what. They should have, if it was a botch, the ref should have just acted like she got in the ring. I don't think it would have been a big deal. I don't think it would have I think it certainly would have been better than what actually happened. So this match ended once again, this time with a count out. So the first time disqualification, second time with a count out. They go to commercial, they come back from commercial, and the match has been restarted once again. Like, oh my God, what a disaster. What a disaster. This is not how you start off your show, for one. Two, we're on the go home episode of Monday Night Raw before the Royal Rumble. This is not what you should be doing whatsoever. And I know that Asuka has a match later with Alexa Bliss, but where is Asuka? She is tag team champions with Charlotte Flair. Shouldn't she have come out to help? You would think. Why is Charlotte and Asuka the tag team champions, but they're both involved in singles feuds? Charlotte Flair is feuding with Lacey Evans because Lacey's in like love with her father. And Asuka's currently randomly feuding with Alexa Bliss. Very odd. Very odd, the things that they do. Obi James says the Raw Women's Division needs Becky back now. Yeah, they really do on Raw. They really do. It's funny how all the rivalries in the Raw Women's Division are connected, but they're all trash, so the division is as well. Yeah, dude, the Raw Women's Division, it's suffering really bad from this. All because it just, none of it is leading anywhere, and none of it serves any sort of purpose. I don't see any value coming from any of this whatsoever. They do all this because they need to go to commercial. Yeah, I mean, I would believe that. I would believe that this wasn't a botch and just a reason to go to commercial. They've done it before. And as Oni says as well, you could tell that they were just stalling for time. This whole entire show, they were just stalling. So I wouldn't put it past them if that was not actually a botch and they were just extending it over. We saw that during, March, when the pandemic started to hit and it really affected WWE. We saw a lot of 2 out of 3 falls matches so that they could have a little bit of stuff going on and then go to commercial and then have a little bit going on and then go to commercial as well. So this whole entire episode just reeked of that, those first couple months or weeks, whatever you want to call it, of the pandemic. Those episodes were terrible. They threw back to a lot of things a lot of times on the show. So it was blatantly obvious to me that they were stalling for time a lot of the time. And the frustrating thing is that they could have, instead of stalling, they could have easily just had other matches. We didn't need a 6-woman tag match. Like, what? We didn't need another match to restart later on in the show either. We could have had The Miz face someone else. So I don't know. Warrior Nation says, if the announcers haven't stated that they were tag champs, I would have never thought Asuka and Charlotte were a team. Yeah, it's weird. And that's the whole thing, is that Charlotte came back because Lana is injured. We haven't seen Lana return yet. So that's also kind of frustrating. That whole entire angle there was all about her, and then she's just gone. Nowhere to be found. Never talked about again, as if it never happened. Tag division, women's division, everything. Yeah, the tag division is terrible too. Very terrible. Anthony says Asuka has to defend the title somehow. Yeah, but they should also be focused. Like, that's her tag team partner. Why wasn't she out helping her? It just kind of, like, it's logical. But I mean, I know she had a match as well, but you know, it's just weird things like that. Weird things. WWE really never seemed to know what they were going to do with those women's tag team championships, and they really just seem like a burden. Really, like, it's been bad. It's been really bad. Raphael says, like, Lacey Evans is rivals with Charlotte, who is partners with Asuka, who together are rivals with Jax and Baszler, who are also rivals with Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose. It's all just an endless circle. It really is. That goes absolutely nowhere. Yes, perfect follow-up to that. Yes. I don't know what the end goal here is. Like, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler getting a shot at the tag titles, Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke getting a shot at the tag titles. What happened to Peyton Royce? I thought that Lacey Evans and Peyton Royce were a team as well. So what happened with that? Are they going to get a tag title shot? I don't understand. And the magnificent, glorious, complex words of AEW, what tag division? 100%. That should be one of my sideboard things. What tag division? So I could just be like... I like how 3 of the 4 women in the tag title match are in the Rumble. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind the double booking stuff like that, but as long as the champions aren't in the Royal Rumble, I don't know, though. I don't know. Warrior says the Riot Squad should be tag team champions. I 100% agree. I think that the Riot Squad should have had them for a little bit now. And so, I mean, since they didn't win them and they lost last week, I think that whoever wins the Women's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic should take the titles from Charlotte and Asuka. That's what I'm thinking. I think it's time for NXT to have them. I think that Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez, if they win, they'd be fantastic tag team champions. Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae would be good ones as well. So hopefully they do something like that. I think NXT could really use them. And you could also have those women float up to Raw or SmackDown and compete on those shows as well, which would kind of give NXT more exposure. Obi James says, shouldn't Charlotte and Asuka face Lacey and Peyton? You would think. You would think, man. James says, Orton versus The Fiend at WrestleMania 37 in a Drag Me to Hell match. That'd be crazy. Diego says, the only thing I'm hyped for is KO and Roman, the last man standing. Me too, pretty much. I mean, aside from the Rumbles. I think those would be pretty good. So what ended up happening here? Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, and Lacey Evans ended up getting the win over Dana Brooke, Mandy Rose, and Charlotte Flair. Whew. This was terrible. Next up, I saw that they announced for WWE Backstage there's going to be a special Royal Rumble episode this Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern. On this show, they're going to announce the 30th entrant in the Men's Royal Rumble, and they're also going to announce the first and second entrants into the Women's Royal Rumble. Why? I lead you to the title of tonight's show. There is no hype for the Royal Rumble. They're just trying to get viewers in. They're trying to bait everyone and everything to get some viewers for this show. So if they can tease the first, second entrance, and 30th, maybe some people will watch. Jeremy says, what is your favorite Royal Rumble match in the last 5 years? I have no idea, man. I'm not very good at like keeping a list of things like that. Chloe says, I want to see The Fiend versus Orton in a good old-fashioned 3 stages of hell match. That'd be pretty cool. I wouldn't mind that. Wouldn't mind that at all. Raphael says, thanks WWE. Thanks for ruining the excitement like always. I still have a little bit of hope. I don't want my favorite event to be ruined. So I'm going in with a little bit of faith. And man, it's going to break my heart if Gold walks out as the WWE champion at the Royal Rumble. At my favorite event, they're going to do me like that. Next up, we saw another match that you can expect to see for a couple more weeks here. We saw SLAPNUTZ taking on Xavier Woods. Daryl says, you're yawning. I see you're tired of talking about this bullshit show tonight. Yeah, it's yawning. I'm not tired, though. I'll be up till probably like 2 or 3 tonight. I have a lot of work to do after this post show here. So... James says, which AEW wrestler did you like better when he or she was in WWE? Probably no one. Probably no one is my answer for that. Obi James says, is it weird that Renee is back in WWE when she was interviewing Tony Khan and Eddie Kingston? I don't think so. I think it's just a one-off, to be honest. I'm not sure if Renee would even want to do that show. She said that she wants to kind of get out of wrestling and do some other stuff, so who knows? Diego says, should Styles face Triple H or Styles versus Edge at WrestleMania? I'm down for either one of those matches. I think both of them are very appealing. 30th entrant will be Conor McGregor since his UFC career is done. That'd be crazy. I'm not sure how Conor McGregor would fit in with WWE though. I'm not quite sure how that would work. Raphael says, I kind of have a feeling that Edge will be number 30. The announcement of number 30 lines up with the announcement of him being in the Rumble, so I guess it would kind of make sense. Sure, yeah. I could see that. I could see that happening. Marcel says, where are we in the post-show? We are at Xavier Woods taking on SLAPNUTZ. SLAPNUTZ. Marcel says, McGregor doing WWE scripted promos would be horrendous. Yeah, probably. If he would even do them. Anyways, this was kind of interesting here because we actually saw Xavier Woods get the win over SLAPNUTZ instead. So very interesting, but of course, in typical WWE fashion, no one is allowed to look strong and no one is allowed to look weak. So of course, as soon as Xavier Woods gets the win here, he gets beaten up by Retribution. The Foot Clan, man, they are the drizzling shits. The Foot Clan is the drizzling shits of WWE, okay? It is terrible. I get that Mustafa Ali is good on the mic. I get it, but to me, this stuff is just not going anywhere. This is just a bunch of filler. And it's the same exact thing we just saw them do with Ricochet. And then what happened with Ricochet afterwards? They just left him alone, and Ricochet went back to not being on TV. So, where does this go? With them beating up Xavier Woods every week for 5 weeks, and then Xavier Woods is just off of TV because Kofi's injured? I don't know. One thing I do know is I don't think that SLAPNUTZ, I don't think his record is very well. Let's take a look-sees. Apparently people like the Foot Clan, and I tell them they need help. Yeah. Liking the Foot Clan. That's wild. Can't be me, man. Can't be me. SLAPNUTZ. Let's see what this man's ratings is. Oh. Looks like he wins some matches on main event. SLAPNUTZ beat Humberto Carrillo on main event. Wow. And Akira Tozawa. Okay. Okay, so his record's not as bad as I thought. He is 2-0. He's won 2 matches. Oh my God. In 2020, he had 38 matches. He won 7. He lost 31. Yikes. Good Lord. James says, do you believe NXT should be added to the next draft? I don't know how I feel about all that. I don't want anyone from NXT to have the burden of going to Raw or SmackDown, to be honest. NXT should just remain NXT at this point until they can get Raw and SmackDown together, because whoever moves to those shows is just going to get wasted. Really is. T-Bar still triggered from Sammy? Probably. I still can't believe that. I cannot believe that. That was hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. I saw it first as I feel like WWE is stringing along Retribution for a Hulk Hogan Mania moment to bury Ali. Let me tell you something, brother Pipe Bomb. I don't know, man. I don't know what they're doing. I have no idea what their plan is for them. I'm very surprised that they've lasted as long as they have, to be honest. Chloe says, this kind of poetic justice. Ali was injured and Kofi took his spot, and now Kofi is injured and now Ali took his spot in the Rumble. Yeah, you can go with that. You can go with that. Definitely. Let's see here. After that, we saw the VIP lounge here with everyone from the Hurt Business. Everyone came out with their gold. Bobby Lashley, the United States champion. Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander with their Raw Tag Team Championships. The only one missing some gold was your boy MVP. And the guys gifted him a gold chain, a 24 karat, gold chain that said THB, that stands for the Hurt Business. Pretty good. I liked it. And of course, during this segment, Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin got into it once again. So like I like this whole new cocky side of Cedric Alexander. I think it's fantastic. All of these guys are doing some amazing work here, but teasing a breakup ain't it, man. It ain't it. When you talk about SLAPNUTZ, you should use the Beetlejuice sound effect from when he called Jeff Jarrett that. I'll have to look into it. SLAPNUTZ. I want to add a bunch of things to my soundboard here, because I have a lot of things that are not wrestling related to them that you'll probably, if I ever do a gaming live stream. I've been playing Overwatch with my friends a little bit, just randomly trying to get back into the swing of things. You'll probably hear them a lot. We're gonna get you a 24 karat chain that says AOW. Hopefully it spins too. Make it spin. A big old G unit spinner necklace with AOW in the middle of it. That'd be sick. Oh, and he says, I just hope Ricochet joins Retribution. I think that could really help them out. Also, lose the masks. They could do an angle where they need to learn their names back, have them actually develop. For me, I think that what I would do was have the Foot Clan just implode. I would have everyone turn on Mustafa Ali and then go back to being themselves afterwards. That's what I would do. It's over. Like, I don't think that there's anything in the world that they could do to make the Foot Clan good. I think it's over. I think they were dead upon arrival. It wasn't good. When they were acting like the whole entire world was ending because someone knocked over a box, and then they locked someone in the shitter backstage, like, that's the chaos that you're causing. Those people that cut the ropes and spray painted the plastic stuff as well, those people aren't even in Retribution. So it's all so bad. Oni says because they're all talented, it's like WWE handicapped them with the masks. Yeah, I agree. Every single one of them is extremely talented. I do not disagree with you there. The gimmick, the Retribution gimmick, it's never going to work. It's too far gone at this point. And I really wish that they would just listen to people and just get that trash off of TV. Leroy says, happy birthday to Sasha Banks. Well, happy birthday, Sasha Banks. Raphael says, if you have time, search up Beetlejuice versus Jeff Jarrett. Okay. All right. I'll bring it up right now. Beetlejuice versus Jeff Jarrett. Okay. I got it up. I'll have that for later. I don't want to play it because I don't want no copyright stuff. So not yet. Anthony says the Hurt Business Gold Reckless is now on the WWE shop and on 2K. Really? Crazy. They put it in the game? Chloe says we need it's boss time on your soundboard. Oh god. I don't know if I could do it. I don't know if I could inflict that pain on myself. I don't know if I could do that. Ooh. After this, we saw the return of R-Truth. We haven't seen R-Truth for quite a while. It's been a couple weeks since we've seen R-Truth and the 24/7 championship. Of course, like everyone else, R-Truth wanted to declare himself for the 2021 Men's Royal Rumble, but he did it next to Adam Pearce, man. He made the biggest mistake that you could possibly make. You do not declare yourself for the Royal Rumble next to Adam Pearce, because that man's is going to make you face off against the Dream Killer AJ Styles. You know how it goes. You got to go up with one of the best in the world. It's not going to end very well. So that match is scheduled to happen later tonight. Beetlejuice SLAPNUTZ is one of the funniest moments in wrestling history. Okay, good. Good to know. Actually, I have my system muted, so I actually think I can listen to it really quick. It's only 17 seconds. I'll bring this up here. Oh, it's a Facebook video. What in the world? Oh my god. Does he hit him with that? What the hell? Oh my god. It's Mr. SLAPNUTZ to you. All right. Yeah. Oh, exit out of it. Beetlejuice, Jeff Jarrett. Okay. All right, I'll have it. I'll have it. Yeah, the guitar hit is hilarious. Hilarious. R-Truth needs to declare himself for the Elimination Chamber. There you go. There you go. James says Xavier needs 3 or 4 more guys to feed off Retribution. Ricochet, Strowman, Kane, or Dabba-Kato, maybe. Or, you know, maybe the New Day. You know, maybe the New Day. Onigo says, I was thinking this dude dressed like Cena, and then he did the five knuckle shuffle. Yeah, he was, huh? With the green shirt. AJ stubbed R-Truth's toe. Oh boy. Adam Pierce says that management doesn't allow everyone to declare themselves in the Royal Rumble. Yeah, and you know, he tweeted that, and then, you know, I think it's a crock of shit, to be honest. It's just an excuse. It really is. None of it makes any sense. I'm looking at this list of people, and you're going to tell me that Otis can declare himself? What has Otis done? Mustafa Ali? He hasn't done anything. Dolph Ziggler? He hasn't done anything except recently. Cesaro declared himself before he had those 2 wins. Jeff Hardy, I guess he beats Elias all the time. Let's see. John Morrison, The Miz, what have they done? Nothing. So like most of the people on here haven't even done anything. I don't even want to go over to the women's section. Fastlane makes a great replacement for Super Showdown this year. I don't know why they fit it in. They should have just left it and just had that blank spot so that we could build up more and prepare for WrestleMania, because they're going to need all the help that they can get for sure. If this is what it looks like going into the Royal Rumble, I'm terrified to see what going into WrestleMania is going to look like this year. Pierce has to make you work for that Rumble spot. Yes, apparently. R-Truth is a 300-time 24/7 champion. He's earned his spot. Yeah, right? Marcel says, you watching the WWE India show tomorrow? No, I'm not watching Superstar Spectacle, and I'm not covering it either. Not for me. Not for me. Chloe says, don't disrespect Bianca Belair's weightlifting buddy Otis like that. Speaking of that, is Otis and Chad Gable a heel now? Because of that? Warrior says AJ lost majority of his pay-per-views last year, and he's somehow the Royal Rumble gatekeeper. Yeah, I don't understand who had this idea of AJ Styles being the gatekeeper for the Royal Rumble. It's really not fair. It's really not fair, to be honest. He's we've talked about this a couple times, but AJ Styles is one of the best wrestlers in the world. So having to be one of those wrestlers that's not deemed good enough to even participate in the Royal Rumble, those guys certainly aren't going to be able to defeat AJ Styles. So Tanvir says, what exactly is going on with the WWE Network? I'm still kind of lost. Well, Tanvir, do you live in the United States or do you live outside of the United States? No Hack says, I think Alpha Academy just like sports and exercise. I could see that, yeah. I could see that. Have them not being heels, but just being involved because it was sports and exercise centered. I could see that. Chloe says, who would be the gatekeeper on SmackDown if they had one? I think it'd be Daniel Bryan. Man, that's not fair either. We're talking about some of the best guys to ever lace up a pair of boots here. Tamber says, yes. Okay, so since you live in the US, I think it's March 18th, the WWE Network will no longer work for you. You will have to subscribe to Peacock. All of the WWE Network content will now be on Peacock in its entirety. Everything will be the same. You'll just be on a different streaming platform. There's 2 different plans for Peacock. You can get Peacock Premium, which is $4.99, but you will have to watch ads. This includes all of Peacock and the WWE Network stuff, so you can watch everything. The second one is $9.99, which is the same price as the WWE Network. you will get everything on Peacock and all of the WWE Network content without ads. So you're pretty much, instead of using the WWE Network, you would just be using the Peacock app or Peacock website to watch. That's all. Everything else will be the same. Obi James says, I'm going to head out. Have a good night. Thank you for tuning in, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, we're going to need to wrap this one up here. We're already over at 2 hours. But thank you for tuning in, man. Chloe says, AJ Styles is like a video game boss you have to be maxed out to beat. Yeah, these guys, R-Truth and Ricochet and Drew Gulak, they have a little bit of training to do before they go back to the boss, AJ Styles. Marcel says, Daniel Bryan loses to everyone. I like that Daniel Bryan loses to everyone, though. I think it's great. Time check, 12:13. It is 10:13 for me. I like that Daniel Bryan puts people over. I think it's very important that people like him do that. Should have been R-Truth versus Ricochet versus Drew Gulak. I'm surprised they didn't do that. Yeah, I'm surprised. I saw first as heading out, my brother. Great podcast like always. Good night. Thank you for tuning in, man. I appreciate you being here and being a part of the chat. It means a lot. Hopefully I will see you for the Wednesday night AEW Dynamite post show as well. 24/7 and women's tag champs should show up on SmackDown and possibly NXT more often. Fox does not want the 24/7 championship. They don't want it. They don't like it. I don't blame them. I don't blame them. Okay, so next up we had a fantastic match. Sheamus versus John Morrison. This one was really good. I'm not quite sure how long it was, but this was a good one. This was a real good one here. I really enjoyed this match. It's a shame that it took them an hour and a half to get to it. Oni says Royal Rumble opening match, a triple threat. I could see the pre-show match being that triple threat. That'd be funny. But this match was really good. Sheamus has been putting on incredible matches so far. Not so far, but lately. John Morrison was good as well. This was good. This is the kind of content that I look for. This is what I want to watch. I want to see 5 of these a night and then have the sports entertainment stuff mixed in with them. I don't want to see all the other crap. Sheamus, of course, I mean, it's John Morrison, so of course he's going to lose. Sheamus gets the win over John Morrison here, but as soon as the match ended, The Miz grabbed a mic and was irritated and said that he wanted to take on Sheamus in a handicap match with John Morrison. So Sheamus and John Morrison had already wrestled, and The Miz wanted to run it back and be involved in it this time, 2-on-1. The interesting thing about this next match, the 2-on-1, is that they were actually in the ring the whole time. They didn't have to tag with each other, which is usually seems to be the way that WWE does it. And they didn't do it this time. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Warrior says, I don't think SmackDown could have a Rumble gatekeeper. Hasn't everyone we've seen on TV already declared themselves for the match? Yeah, probably. Probably by this point. Phoenix, Arizona for WrestleMania 40. There you go. I don't like the Miz declare himself for the Rumble because Miz basically already has the opportunity for a title match. Yeah, that's true as well. Imagine the Miz being the Royal Rumble winner and the Money in the Bank champion. And the Miz goes to WrestleMania to fight Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns. And then he loses the match. And then immediately cashes in afterwards and either wins it or doesn't. That's WWE booking at its finest right there. God, I hope that doesn't happen. God, please, God. Anyways, for this second match here, The Miz and John Morrison are the ones that actually pick up the win over Sheamus. This doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. This goes on to the whole thing where I talk about no one can be strong and no one can be weak. Sheamus just got a good win, a solid win over John Morrison, and then they 50-50 book him and have him lose a couple minutes later. Yes, Sheamus was already just in a match. Yes, Sheamus was actually in a handicap match. So technically, people will say that doesn't make him look weak, but it's still a loss. And the same could be said about The Miz's win. Yes, The Miz did get a win, but Like I just said, Sheamus was already in a match, and it took The Miz and John Morrison to beat up a Sheamus who was already in a match as well. No one came out of this looking impressive whatsoever. This did nothing for anyone whatsoever. Just filler. Although it was a filler, but it was a good filler because both of these matches were enjoyable, in my opinion. I liked both of them. It just didn't make sense. Joshua says, it's been 2 hours and you're still here. Yeah, we kind of decided early on that we were just going to kind of hang out and chat instead of talking about Raw because it was so terrible. But I did want to run through it really quick. So we are at the point where I'm running through it pretty quickly. So Oni says, you can't expect to have a successful wrestling show when the actual wrestling is an afterthought. A Claymore kick, basically. Yeah, that's what I don't understand. Like, I have no problem. I have no problem whatsoever with the sports entertainment aspect, like the storylines, the entertainment kind of stuff, the backstage segments and the stuff that they do. I have no problem with any of that. It's just the balance of it that I have a problem with. They don't focus on wrestling whatsoever. Like at all. Damn, look, WWE's creative team made an appearance. What are those, a bunch of monkeys? Pretty much, man. Pretty much. Like, I don't get it. I'll never get it. So hopefully, like I was saying earlier, hopefully after the Royal Rumble, that actually is a reset, because I don't know how much longer we can all do this, how we can suffer so much. It's brutal. Next up, I think was, oh God, this part of the show. Next up, went to the backstage segment here where we saw Lacey Evans and Ric Flair. Ric Flair is behind Lacey Evans, got his arms around her waist. Looks like they're trying to get out of a lock here. This is kind of shades of Triple H and Trish Stratus if you were watching back in the day when Trish was all up on Triple H in the back and he was showing her a wrestling move, but he had her arm bent behind her back and she was bent over completely in front of her, like bent down in front of him. Stephanie walked in and it was really bad. This was kind of a similar thing here, but reversed with Lacey and Rick, and then Charlotte Flair walked in and was disappointed about it and had a conversation with him, and then Lacey ended up coming back in and laying out Charlotte. I don't know if this is supposed to get Lacey Evans over or what. I certainly don't like it. This is not something that I want to see. I have no interest in watching Ric Flair be attached to Lacey Evans. I don't know. Maybe this whole storyline is to help Lacey Evans get over. Maybe she will go over at the end and beat Charlotte. I don't know. Like we said earlier, though, the whole entire Raw women's division is sort of wrapped up in this circle feud here where everyone is kind of in some sort of way feuding with each other. So it doesn't quite make sense. I don't know if Lacey's going to continue feuding with Charlotte individually. Lacey is also supposed to kind of technically be partners with Peyton Royce as well. So are they going to team back up again and face them for the championships? Is this a single feud? What's going on? I have absolutely no idea. Your clue is as good as mine. Your guess is as good as mine. Joshua says, how do you feel knowing that AEW has effectively surpassed NXT's tag division that is now probably forgettable? I honestly hadn't noticed until it was pointed out. I mean, AEW's tag team division, I feel like that's what they based their entire show around. So for me, them having the best tag team division is no surprise. I'm not surprised about that at all. That's their specialty. That's what they go to. They have tons and tons and tons of tag teams. Now, if only they would stop doing those 8-man tag matches, because they don't do them well. They don't do them well at all. They still need to learn how to do the 6-man matches if they're going to have trios titles. So, Daryl says, I knew you were going to say that Triple H and Trish segment all them years ago. Yeah, man. Real ones know. Real ones know, man. Oni says, if the fans were there, they would boo the full 3 hours. I think they're phoning it in until fans get back. Yeah, I pray for WWE when fans come back, because boy, are they in for a rude awakening. I think I said this earlier on in my comments somewhere. And I think that the fans would have hijacked the show. I think that they'd be chanting, what? CM Punk and AEW for 3 hours. Marcel says, you really think AEW doesn't do multiple man stuff well? I highly disagree. Anything 8-man tag stuff, I don't like. I feel like it's too sloppy. To me, I always feel like it's just pure chaos all the time. So I don't really like it. Their 6-mans have been hit or miss for me. I don't mind them. I just wish that they wouldn't really go over the 6-man right now. I feel like they need to make a focus on 6-mans. They're supposedly going to have trios titles sometime this year as well. So I want to see them focus on that. AEW is too chaotic all the time. Like they always try to throw a million people out there in these big matches, and then everything ends in a brawl. So I would like to see more structure. Marcel says, I like the chaos. Yeah, I mean, it's not that they're bad in a sense. Like they're not terrible in terms of like the matches being bad, but they're way too chaotic. I think things get out of hand way too much in those, and it's hard to remember who's the active person. It's hard to remember the people that should be out of the ring, like what's going on. There's just always so much going on that I much prefer the other ones. And you have FTR always bitching about people not following the rules as well. So I would just like to see them focus on that. I'd like to see them stick with the 6-mans so they can focus on those trios titles. I think trios titles for AEW will be very exciting. Surprisingly, there's a lot of very good trios that they can have in AEW. A lot of them. No Hack says, I feel like AEW does too much tag team stuff. On the 2 weeks Fyter Fest, there was 12 matches and 6 of them were tags. Yeah, they do a lot of tags, but I mean, that's their specialty. You know? I think most of us knew that AEW would be very tag team focused, which is kind of great. And it kind of does, like, when you think about it, it kind of does make it more of an alternative to WWE because they can't do tag team stuff for shit to save their lives. So on the other hand, you have AEW who does it too much. FTR bitching is their gimmick. I know. I'm just saying that in terms of rule following, where with people being in the match, not in the match and stuff like that. If AEW are having trio titles, aren't they copying Ring of Honor? I don't think trios titles are anything really new, are they? Didn't New Japan have them as well? Or was it just, I don't know. I don't mind the trios titles though. They're very tag team centric over there at AEW, so I feel like those titles make more sense than another singles one. It benefits them a lot more. They have tons of stables, they have tons of teams. So Marcel says New Japan has 3-man titles. There you go. Yeah. So they're very tag team focused. So it makes a ton of sense. And when you think about it, if you were to add a singles title, your singles title is typically going to have 2 people involved in a feud, right? If you have trio titles, that means you have 6 people involved in a feud. So you're tying up a lot of bodies as well. So a lot of people can have things to do. A lot of people can be happy that they're not sitting on the sidelines and not being used. So I think that's great for it as well. And like I said, there's tons. We've gone through and done this a couple of times, but there's tons and tons of stables and teams that are possible to have for the trios titles. So I definitely think it's going to be a plus. Marcel says New Japan and Ring of Honor are the only companies that have trio titles. Well, I guess that makes sense. And most of those guys went through Ring of Honor and New Japan as well. So I guess it makes sense. It kind of fits with them. All right, what's next here? R-Truth taking on the Dream Killer AJ Styles. I wasn't paying too much attention to this match. I was taking out some garbage, getting ready for the show tonight, looking over some comments. So I don't really have much of an opinion over this match, but AJ Styles, the Dream Killer, did defeat R-Truth, which means that he will not be able to enter into the men's 2021 Royal Rumble. And if you guys were paying attention, maybe someone can let me know here. Was the 24/7 championship stuff suspended during this match? Because I didn't hear it. And AJ Styles clearly pinned R-Truth. So does that make him the 24/7 champion? Or was it suspended? I'm going to assume that it was suspended, but I didn't hear it. So I thought that was very interesting. AEW is a better version of old WCW. Way better than Impact Wrestling. Yeah, I have my gripes about Impact, but I don't know. It seems like they might be doing a little bit better here with this AEW partnership. So we'll see. We'll see how their show goes tomorrow. Not explicitly, no. Interesting then. Apparently, but then again, I don't think WWE would want AJ holding that shitty title. Yeah, I would agree. But I was just curious because I didn't hear it. So I was just kind of curious. Next up, this is, again, another obvious moment here where they were just trying to fill this show. They were trying to stretch everything out. They showed the Randy Orton promo from last week that was like 10 minutes long, with Randy in that like ghetto luchador mask that's supposed to be a bandage for his burned face. Anthony says, wait, we are forgetting about the daily typical Aleister Black question. Oh no. The typical Aleister Black question. I'm glad you brought it up, Anthony. I'm not sure what's going to happen with Aleister Black. I'm not sure if we mentioned it or talked about it last week, but someone reported that they took him off TV so that he could just come back and have a big debut. I call bullshit on that one. I think that they're just not on a good page right now. So we'll see. I guess only time will tell with Aleister Black. Hell, maybe he shows up at the Royal Rumble. I don't know. That'd be pretty cool. I'm sure AJ will bring it up next week. Oh God, I hope AJ Styles doesn't become the 24/7 champion. I just thought about it, and yeah, they've got so many trios. That would be great. Yeah, there's so many, dude. So many. And I think Death Triangle should be the first trios tag team champions. Pac, Penta, and Rey Fenix. I think they'd make fantastic first champions. Be some good stuff right there. Marcel says, apparently Black is getting a re-debut on SmackDown. Major reported. I hope that's the case. Aleister Black is extremely talented. There's no reason for him to be sitting on the sidelines. SmackDown is a fantastic area or a fantastic brand for him to be on. Certainly better than Raw. Certainly better than Raw. Next up, we saw another episode of Alexa's Playground here. This time it was different as well. So we've seen this 3 times now, and it's been different every time. The first 2 times were in the actual ring. This one was in the backstage ring where they do the interviews and stuff like that. The grass was still here as well with the swing set. And Alexa Bliss was still talking to someone. We don't know who that is. Is that her own imaginary person? Is she talking to Bray Wyatt? Is she talking about The Fiend? Or is she talking to The Fiend? Is she talking to the evil version of herself? Is she talking to Sister Abigail? I don't know. It is very interesting. I've said this a million times. I really, really, really like this whole Alexa Bliss Fiend thing. I think she is absolutely killing it every single time, week in and week out. So very happy to see this. This was also some filler content as well. This was very long and just had Alexa Bliss going over the promo and all of the stuff that had happened leading up to this as well. El Randistador seems to have gotten rid of the mask given the end of the show. That's a plus. Yeah, I thought the burns looked kind of silly. Anthony says, have you got the Randy mask on 2K? I don't know. I haven't played 2K since like last year sometime. The WWE 2K20, I had like no interest in whatsoever. I played and recorded the career mode to upload to my gaming channel. And then afterwards, I was pretty much done with it. That was about it. I did the, what was it? The Pilgrim Rusev thing to get him. I did the Fiend thing to get him. And then I went to do one for someone else. I can't remember. It was like The Undertaker or something. It was a lot of matches. I got all the way to the end. I won it, and the game crashed during the winning scene thing. You know, the little sequence after you win the match where it plays your music and stuff. It went to that and then cut out, and the game just closed, and I lost all the progress on it. So I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm not playing this game anymore. I'm completely done. I think she's talking to Nikki because she usually refers to Bray as him, but when she talks to the Swing, she doesn't say it. Nikki would be interesting. I miss Nikki Cross. I love Nikki Cross. Marcel says, I will never get people who like Fiend Alexa. For me, it's just something a little bit different. Oh, God, I forgot to turn off my thing. Let me turn this off. Mute. There we go. Yeah, not you, Alexa. Alexa Bliss, Alexa. I don't know. I like it. I think it's interesting. It fits in with the Fiend stuff, and it's just a change of pace, I think, more than anything. It's nice to see her not be the goddess and kind of be something else. So I like that about it. And I personally I like this stupid shit like this. Like, I really love the Broken Universe and Matt Hardy. I love the Fiend stuff. I love all of it. Like the darkness of the Fiend. I love the Firefly Funhouse goofiness of the Fiend. So I feel like naturally this just fits in with all of that, and I liked it. I like it. It's like if I want cheap horror stuff, I would watch a B-movie horror film. Yeah. I mean, I don't mind it. I like it. I think it's nice. Nice change of pace for the show, and it's refreshing to me. It's not the same thing that we're seeing throughout everything else. It's nice and different. One time I was playing a universe mode Royal Rumble, and everything went the way I wanted to, like all the elims and stuff. And then at the final 3, it crashed. I was playing that match for 40 minutes. Oh my God, dude. Yeah, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it anymore. That's crazy. That stuff would drive me nuts. Although I think I've discussed it a couple times. I have really wanted to do a universe mode in WWE 2K20, but nothing like serious. Nothing like I don't want to sit here and like book a show and like do crazy stories and stuff. Like, I just want to do it and just kind of play around with people, like with chat, and kind of pick matches and pick rivalries and just see like all the hilarious glitches that happen and just all the ridiculous stuff. I think that'd be kind of fun. Maybe once I get caught up in all these other games that I have to play, because there's a lot. No Hack says, I also don't like Fiend Alexa, but I just think that she doesn't need to whatsoever, and someone like Nikki could have really used this gimmick. Yeah, I see a lot of people who think that this should have been Liv Morgan. I see a lot of people that think that. So I think Nikki would have fit in as well, but me personally, I've been enjoying the Alexa Bliss thing. Only thing I don't like about Funhouse Alexa is the no selling. It works with the Fiend since he's a supernatural demon, I guess, but a duo that apparently doesn't feel pain is too much. Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, I totally understand why people wouldn't like these sort of things. It's definitely different. Definitely different. So I can see that. I think to each their own on this one. I don't think there's any justification for it in like trying to convince someone to like it or to not like it, just because I think this is just one of those ones that's just personal preference. You either like the stuff or you don't, kind of. Marcel says, I enjoy the Hardy stuff because it feels like it's supposed to be funny. Yeah, so the Hardy stuff is really cringy, like cheap kind of stuff. So kind of different, but along the same lines, similar lines to me. Daryl says, Gore and Perkins are the best at universe mode on WWE 2K. They create great storylines. It's way better than the bullshit on actual WWE. Maybe they should hire some YouTubers, man. Maybe they should hire some YouTubers over there. Raphael says, in universe mode, when you start and sim to WrestleMania, you get like Bo Dallas versus Jinder Mahal for the WWE title, and Heath Slater and Mandy Rose versus John Cena and Ruby Riott in a mixed tag. Yes, yeah, I'm all for that. I think that'd be hilarious. Do something like that. Maybe we'll do something like that sometime. The simulation is so broken. I've been watching Dank Ops do those inserting his creative person, Chris Danger, into the universe mode, but in like certain eras and simulating through them, and the Baron Blade one in NXT. I really like those. I like those. I might do something like that at some point. I'm not sure who I would use though. I was thinking it might be funny to put Humberto Carrillo in on Raw or something like that and just see what happens with him. Just simulate through the whole thing. Be kind of fun. Just add my own little quirks to it. The Fiend stuff just feels so serious, which makes it not funny and cringe. I could see that. I could see that. I suggest you just wait for the next game because 2K20 has the worst game. Yeah, I know. I know, man. I subscribe to Goran Perkins, but I don't watch it very often. I really thought the day the Fiend was going to come back is when Bliss got RKO'd. This could very well lead him to show up at the Royal Rumble. Hope WWE 2K22 game would be dope this year. Are they going to release one this year, or are they waiting another year to release one? All I know is that if they release another 2K game, it better be flames. Like, it better not be some bullshit. It better be ready to go, because if I'm paying another $100 for this game, it better work. I didn't buy WWE 2K Battlegrounds. I gave that one a pass. I think I made the right choice on that one. But regardless, I'll buy the 2K games just for the career mode alone, because I want to post them. You think they're releasing a game this year? All right. Well, hopefully they pull out all the stops on that one. I really wish they bring back GM mode too. Like, I really want to play GM mode. I have a PS1 emulator on my computer with which one is this? SmackDown versus Raw 2006. I was gonna do a GM mode on that for my gaming channel, but I never got around to doing it. Oh, it's a PS2 emulator, I think. Or maybe I just have both. I don't know. And I think Alexa is supposed to be Sister Abigail, because last week when she transformed back into her normal self, you can hear the Fiend say sister. Really? Interesting. I didn't notice that. I did not notice that. Towards the end of this, they did a little thing where she said, "Let me in." That was kind of cool. It showed the kind of like a Fiend mask overlay over her mouth and her right eye. So that was pretty cool. I really liked that. I'm not sure if this is going to lead to her getting a mask or not, or I'm not sure if this is maybe a way of telling us that Alexa Bliss is actually the Fiend, like she's actually possessed by the Fiend or not. I'm not quite sure, but I like it. Agree or disagree, Karrion Kross ruined Keith Lee. No, I would say that Monday Night Raw ruined Keith Lee. That's what I would say ruined Keith Lee. Although I also wouldn't necessarily say that Keith Lee is ruined, but he's certainly nowhere near as impressive or good as he was in NXT. Just the way that he's booked, and the way that they have him go, like his first 6 or 7 matches or something, like almost all of them ended in no contest or disqualifications. They need to go back to SmackDown versus Raw. I would love to have a SmackDown versus Raw game, and I mean it's fitting since there is a brand split. 39 more subscribers to 1,000. Oh, we're getting so close, man. So close. And we're over halfway there to monetization now as well. In terms of watch hours. Very exciting. And hopefully the Royal Rumble is a huge show. I hope there's a huge turnout for that. It should be a lot of fun. I would love a SmackDown versus Raw featuring NXT game. Yeah, just like the ECW one. That'd be amazing. It would be amazing. I would love that. Oni says, I think the payoff should be that Alexa has been pulling the strings the whole time and the whole Wyatt family has been possessed for her for years. That's interesting. I hope they do have a cool story with it. It's one of the things that I'm certainly most interested about in WWE currently. I know that Bray Wyatt won't let me down. So I'm heavily invested. I had SmackDown vs. Raw 2008 on my Wii. I got hit with a huge wave of nostalgia. Oh, dude, yeah, man, those games are so good. I didn't even know it was on the Wii. That's crazy. That's really crazy to think about. Yeah, those games were awesome, man. Those games were awesome. I loved them. Here Comes the Pain was a really good one as well. I can't remember if that was on... I think that was on PlayStation 2, right? That was a really good one. I missed those games that were so much fun that you could just play for hours and hours and hours on end. When is Braun Strowman coming back? I have no clue. James says, I have SmackDown versus Raw 10 on PS3. Nice. Nice. I'm not sure I played that one before. Not sure I played that one. I think 2000, is 2008 the last one I played? SmackDown versus Raw 2008. Yeah, so I definitely played that one. 2009? I'm not quite sure if I played 2009 or not. Or 10. And then I think I picked up back on like WWE 2K like 15 or 16. 15, no, not 15. The one that has Stone Cold on it. Oops. 2K 16. I think it's 16. Yeah. So then I stopped around 2008, 2009 in the games and then picked up at 2K 16. I got the SmackDown versus Raw that has Batista and Rey Mysterio Road to WrestleMania. Oh, nice. That's a good one. SmackDown Shut Your Mouth is amazing as well as my top 2 along with SmackDown vs. Raw 2007. Yeah, Shut Your Mouth is so good. So good. I know it might not happen, but what if they remastered SmackDown Here Comes the Pain? I think someone had mentioned that before, that they were saying how cool would it be if they remade SmackDown Here Comes the Pain but updated the roster. So kind of just like remastered it a little bit. Don't really change the graphics that much, just kind of tone them up, make them look a little bit better. And then feature the current roster. That'd be so cool. The Attitude Era Showcase and CM Punk on the cover. Fair enough, fair enough. I didn't play those ones, so I wouldn't know. I heard that there will be a new WWE 2K with Drew on the cover. I could see that. I could see that. Drew or Roman Reigns, or maybe even both on the cover. Could certainly see that. That is for sure. Okay, next up we had a gauntlet match. A gauntlet match. It feels like if WWE wants someone to be popular, they put them in a gauntlet match. Did that do this for Matt Riddle tonight? No. Fortunately, it did not. This was not your typical gauntlet match here. This was kind of crap, to be honest. I think every single one of these ended in a roll-up finish. So Matt Riddle ended up beating Shelton Benjamin first. Then he beat Matt Riddle. Or not, Matt Riddle didn't beat himself. God. Matt Riddle beat MVP. So what had happened was Cedric Alexander tried to distract Riddle, but he ended up like messing up the pin. And then Riddle was able to beat Benjamin. And then MVP came in the ring, but instead of MVP focusing on Matt Riddle, he was just standing there watching Cedric and Shelton get into a little argument here, and he was trying to intervene between them. The bell rang. Matt Riddle literally came up, and actually this one ended in a submission, not a roll-up. Put him in a submission, and MVP tapped out immediately, like 10 seconds. And then Cedric Alexander came in, and the match between Cedric and Matt Riddle was fantastic. I'm a huge fan of Cedric Alexander, especially now. I think he's really come into a fantastic character here. Oni says, get your dumbass in the ring. Yes, that's what MVP said. It was like, I don't know. Like, I don't understand why you would have one person beat an entire stable in one night. And 2 of those guys are the Raw Tag Team Champions. All of this just to get to Bobby Lashley. They've already had a match, as we spoke to. Actually, that was in comments on Instagram. Bobby Lashley squashed Matt Riddle in a United States Championship match in under 2 minutes. It was like 1 minute and 58 seconds. And now he's going to get a rematch for it. He's probably going to win the United States Championship at the Royal Rumble if I had to guess. That would be my guess. But why does everyone in the Hurt Business need to lose? Maybe there's no one there. Maybe they wanted to go to commercial between every single fall. I have no idea, but This was not your typical gauntlet match from WWE where the person that runs the gauntlet looks really strong. This was just a load of crap, you know? And stop teasing the breakup of the Hurt Business. They're still pretty new and nobody wants to see that. Couldn't have said it any better, Raphael. I mean, I completely agree. The reasons why we tune into the show is for Drew McIntyre, the Hurt Business, The Fiend, and Alexa Bliss. Those are the 3 reasons that we tune into this show. Breaking up the Hurt Business is breaking up one of the key reasons that we tune in. So why? Why would you do this? It makes absolutely no sense. So hopefully they get their stuff together and this is just a little bit of tension here just to kind of draw things out. Hopefully. I think that the Hurt Business has a lot of life left in them. You could also go the route where they just kick Cedric Alexander out of the Hurt Business, but I would be afraid that Cedric Alexander would just fall back into nothing afterwards. So keep them together, man. Keep them together. Marcel says Hurt Business being buried by Mr. Weed. Yeah, pretty much. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. I don't get it. So I don't know. Hopefully they fix their problems and we're good to go. Next up, they showed the Drew McIntyre and Goldberg opening promo segment thing for the 3rd time tonight. Another key point in realizing that they were just stretching things out and they needed a lot of filler. There was no reason that we needed to see this Goldberg and Drew McIntyre stuff once again. This did not help leverage their match at the Royal Rumble. No one cares. No one is going to care whatsoever. It just is what it is. So, I mean, I'm glad that the Royal Rumble is this Sunday so that I don't have to see this again. I pray to the wrestling gods that Goldberg is not my WWE champion come Monday so I don't have to see him on my TV more. So, God, please do not let Goldberg walk away with the WWE championship. Oh, Leroy says it's almost been 3 hours. Is it really? Oh my God, I've been streaming for 2 hours and 40 minutes. Good Lord. Finally, I can get tallies on the counter again. Yeah, I think that's probably gonna do it tonight for the gold counter there. Next up, we got an update here on Edge. Apparently, Edge is good to go. Everything is ready. He declared himself for the Royal Rumble. Good thing Adam Pearce wasn't around, or maybe he would have found himself in a match against the Dream Killer AJ Styles. I actually wish he would have, because Edge versus AJ Styles would be incredible. So, but yeah, Edge has declared himself for the Royal Rumble, which is a huge shame, man. It's a huge shame. I said this earlier on in the show, but I mean, God, it's almost been 3 hours now. Edge should have been held as a surprise. Yes, there's no crowd, but still, I don't think it matters. I think just that music hitting in the Rumble would have just been huge. It just would have been so cool. Would have been so exciting. And they kind of just squandered it. They just wasted it here. Maybe to get a couple viewers for the Royal Rumble. I don't know. But we talk about this fairly often here about creating must-see TV. And this just, it's not it. This isn't it. His official name is Scrap Daddy Adam Pearce. Isn't his official name everyone's favorite, not so favorite authority figure, Adam Pearce? Oni says, if Edge loses, expect a Styles feud. I hope that's the case, man. I hope that's the case. Raphael says, if there's no more surprise entrants, then revealing Edge is pretty stupid. I mean, there has to be, right? We have 17 entrants into the Royal Rumble currently. So that leaves 13 more. I would assume that Keith Lee is one of them. If we're going to assume that Aleister Black is one. I would expect probably some goofy ones like Santino Martella or whatever. Carlito is probably one. Carlito has to be one, dude. Carlito has to be a surprise entrant at the Royal Rumble. He just has to be. So maybe an NXT person or two. I definitely think there's going to be some prizes. I would expect Seth Rollins to be one of them as well. So we'll see. I just think it was a cheap thing. I think they realized that they need more hype for the Royal Rumble than they currently have. And I think this was a last minute thing. Not not Edge appearing at the Royal Rumble, but Edge being advertised and declaring himself for the Royal Rumble. I think that was the rushed thing. I missed Santino. I was a child. He was in his Cobra phase. Didn't realize this was still going on. Man, we go all night here. All night. Usually they were about 2 hours long, but we didn't get into talking about the show till really late. The only surprise entrance I can think of is Brock, maybe, because was it rumored to be Drew versus Brock versus Keith at Mania? It was rumored, yes. But they also, WrestleVotes also said that they were still like working on them. None of them were set in stone, so that was just being tossed around. Not taken too seriously yet, I don't believe, because the other one that was mentioned is The Fiend and Alexa Bliss versus Edge, and Beth Phoenix was the other one. So I'm not sure. Brock or Cena being included. Cena being included would be crazy too. Remember when Santino almost won the Royal Rumble against Alberto Del Rio? No, I don't think I watched during that time. James says AEW would lose ratings if they hired Brock Lesnar and have him as world champion. Yeah, I think that they would. They'd piss me off, that's for sure. I would feel insulted. They would lose my respect. They currently have that respect. Dynamite and AEW are the two shows that I will allow hokey things, and I will allow them to tell stories because they're good at it. Raw and SmackDown are not afforded those luxuries anymore because they just treat you like you're stupid, and they just drop things and never mention them to you. Did I say Dynamite and AEW? I meant NXT and Dynamite, or NXT and AEW, whatever. I'm losing my mind being here for 3 hours. Been watching wrestling and talking about wrestling for like 6 hours now. Whew. Samoa Joe is at the Rumble and gets off commentary and puts his gear on. Hell yeah, man. That'd be sick. I would love to see that. Brock versus Omega feels kind of good, to be honest. That'd be an interesting match for sure. If Brock showed up to work, that'd be crazy. Imagine CM Punk is revealed as number 30 just to create hype for this Rumble. If they did that and he didn't actually show up, they would get just destroyed everywhere though. Plus, if CM Punk was returning, they probably would hold it off until there was a crowd. So I don't ever see CM Punk returning to WWE personally. I don't think that's gonna happen. Next up, we have the main event of the show, which was Alexa Bliss taking on Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship. Last week on Raw, Alexa Bliss pretty much demolished Asuka once she turned into her darker form, I guess, if you will. And this helped her get a clean win off of Asuka, and I guess I'm assuming that gave her this title opportunity here. I'm not sure why this had to go down. I'm not sure why this had to be a title opportunity. This could have just been against anyone else. I don't know. I think that's the reason why it makes it so irritating to me, is that it's a title match, and it's one that we saw last week as well, and they just went for a disqualification of it. So Marcel says motivated Brock versus Omega would be match of the year. I think they could put on something special, probably. Yeah, I would agree. That'd be very interesting to see. Ryan says, I hope Edge's return leads to a new feud. Nothing against his rivalry with Orton, but I'd rather see Edge face someone new. Yes, I want to see Edge and AJ Styles. That's what I want to see. I'm also not mad at Edge and Seth Rollins. That'd be interesting as well. Ultra Instinct Alexa versus Asuka. Yeah, pretty much, right? No selling everything. So what ended up happening here is they did a lot of goofy stuff with Alexa here. Of course, every time WWE goes to commercial, they need to do something weird. So they had Asuka get thrown on the outside of the ring, and then they cut to Alexa, who was in the ring riding the rocking horse, which was interesting. And they went to commercial from that. Later on, they were in the match, and Alexa Bliss transformed back into her goddess gimmick during the match. And then after that, she transformed into this new darker version of her with the black lipstick. she was pretty much no selling anything that Asuka did, and she managed to lock in the mandible claw. And right when she did that, Randy Orton popped up behind her without his lucha mask on, with his face all burnt. She turned around and he hit her with the RKO. When I told my mom Randy RKO'd Alexa, she laughed. Marcel says this main event was utter trash. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people that will not be happy with this main event with all of the goofy stuff that they did. I don't have any problems with the goofy stuff, but I really have a problem with the ending, with it being a title match and stuff like that. And this show was just filled with so much crap that it was like, man, we don't need to see any more of this. Like, I'm so done seeing all of this crap. So it wasn't a surprise. I think pretty much everyone knew that this match was going to end in a no contest or DQ. A lot of people called Randy attacking her. So yeah, he hit her with an RKO, and then the show went off the air. This may be what provokes the Fiend to return at the Royal Rumble. I think a lot of people are expecting to see the Fiend this Sunday in some capacity at the Royal Rumble. Hopefully he's not in the Royal Rumble match. I don't want to see that. I don't think the Fiend fits into the Royal Rumble match type whatsoever. So we'll see. But overall, this show was terrible. This show was absolute garbage. Like, sure, there were a couple things here and there that you could have enjoyed, but this was 3 hours of just pure torture. This is the go home episode of Monday Night Raw leading into the Royal Rumble. And like I said, I'll say this all the way until Sunday, unless they do something special on Friday, but there is no hype for the Royal Rumble. Aside from the Royal Rumble just being the Royal Rumble and having the Royal Rumble in it, there is no hype for anything on the Raw side. Nothing. Drew McIntyre versus Goldberg, nothing. Absolutely nothing. If they're going to do Charlotte Flair and Asuka versus Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, nothing. Matt Riddle and Bobby Lashley for the United States Championship, nothing. Nothing. We've already seen that match. That match was a 2-minute squash match. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Am I missing something? I think that's pretty much it, isn't it? On the Raw side of things. No tag team match, to my knowledge, at least not yet. Yeah, I think that's it. So yeah, the Raw side not looking very good for the Royal Rumble. Hopefully SmackDown is able to do what they do, to do what they've been doing lately. Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens, to me, has the most hype of anything, even though we've already seen that match 2 or 3 times now. But that's what I'm looking forward to the most, aside from the Royal Rumbles. Like, Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens in the last man standing match sounds fantastic. I'm hoping that Jimmy Uso returns during that match. I can only assume that Kevin Owens is getting screwed again. And this time by Jimmy. That's my guess. Yeah, and the Royal Rumbles. Trying to think of, is there a SmackDown Tag Team Championship match? I don't think so. There's not an Intercontinental Championship match. There's a SmackDown Women's Championship match, which is Sasha Banks versus Carmella again. We've already seen that. There's no hype behind that. So it's rough, man. It's rough. Marcel says, if Goldberg wins, I swear to God. I know, man. I'm telling you. I keep saying it. Just prepare. Just prepare yourselves. Chloe says, Bray confirmed that there was supposed to be a female joining him eventually because there was a pink rocking horse was shown when they were teasing his return. Oh, interesting. I love how they hide stuff like that in with the Fiend. Like, I really like that stuff. We need a nothing soundboard. I have 12 slots for soundboards, so I just need to save this profile for my gaming one because I have a lot of sounds in here that I like to use for that, and create a wrestling one so that I can just swap between them. Rafael says, yeah, the tag plus US and IC titles are barely ever defended on pay-per-view. Goes to show the state of the divisions and how much they care. If you don't care about your own titles, why should we? I know I always say that WWE championships have like no prestige and everyone gets so upset about it, but it's true. Like they're completely worthless in today's world. They're treated so bad, especially the United States Championship. For so long, it was just thrown on people just to keep them happy. Like Nakamura had it for a while and didn't do anything with it. It's like, man, it's brutal. Jaden says, I think if Gold beats Drew, they'll run it back at Mania. It's very possible. It's something that we discussed at the beginning of the show. Yep. If they want fans for Drew McIntyre being WWE champion, I could certainly see him losing to Gold this weekend and then regaining it at WrestleMania. Okay. Ryan says, watch Gold enter the Royal Rumble even if he loses to Drew. Man, there's quite a few people who think that Gold will be winning the Royal Rumble. A lot of people think that Drew McIntyre will beat him and that he'll enter the Royal Rumble and win it and then challenge Roman Reigns for WrestleMania. Man, if that happens, I'm going to be pissed. Taking away a spot in the Royal Rumble like that would piss me off a lot. Raphael says, take Big E, for example. He started off his singles run by winning the IC title, and yet he doesn't feel any more important to me than before he won it. Yeah, that match with Apollo was trash. Like, they ruined it. And then he fought him again, and then it got ended in a disqualification. Like, I don't think any of that stuff does any favors for anyone. And Sami Zayn's been involved in the Intercontinental Championship picture forever. He was in it with Jeff and AJ Styles, and now he's still in it. It's been forever. Chloe says, and they were going to debut Alexa as the doll that was haunting the Miz's family when he feuded with Bray, but I'm glad they didn't. See, I liked that. That's one of my favorite things. One of my favorite feuds with The Fiend was The Fiend and The Miz. That was like a short notice thing, but they were so creative with it. I liked it. Why can't it just be Carlito? I think that's the question for everything, man. Why can't it just be Carlito? Marcel says the TNT title feels like an important mid-card title, unlike the WWE mid-card title. Yeah, you know, Cody was saying that the TNT championship isn't necessarily a mid-card title. And I think I kind of understand what he's saying now. That they're not making it feel any less important than their world championship. It's main evented. It's been in feuds. Darby's reign hasn't been the greatest in terms of defenses and stuff, but we'll see how that goes going forward with Sting being involved and Team Taz. Ryan says Big E should make it to the end of the Rumble even if he doesn't win. I could see that. I think the final like 5 or 6 of the Royal Rumble is going to be pretty crazy. Just imagine the final 6 being like Keith Lee, AJ Styles. So Keith Lee, AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan, Shinsuke Nakamura, Cesaro, and Aleister Black. That'd be crazy. That would be absolutely crazy. Absolutely insane. I would love to see that. Marcel says 3 hours of AEW is better than 3 hours of Raw. I cannot believe that it's been 2 hours and 56 minutes. So I'll hang out for. We'll finish off. We'll go to the full 3 hours. We'll go the full 3 hours. So just talk about whatever for a couple minutes here. End off the show. But man, I hope that SmackDown is better. I really hope that SmackDown gives us one hell of a show. I hope that they lead into the Royal Rumble very well. I can't say it enough. The Royal Rumble is my favorite show. My favorite wrestling show of any promotion, of any period. I absolutely love the Royal Rumble. And this Royal Rumble, I've said this before too. This Royal Rumble was supposed to be in Seattle. And we were going to go to it. But of course, pandemic, you know? So that sucks. Replace Alistair in your final 6 with John Cena. There you go. I hope that the final like 6 or whatever is just crazy. Just absolutely crazy. That'd be so much fun. So much fun. I went to the Royal Rumble that was in Phoenix as well. Me and my fiance did. And man, being there at the Royal Rumble is just an incredible feeling. Just all the surprises for people coming out and stuff. It was so much fun. Going to the Royal Rumble and Double or Nothing were my favorite things ever. Like, those were so much fun. Marcel says, I heard the Jungle Boy match on AEW taped was fantastic. Good to hear. That's Jungle Boy and Cash, right? Or Dax? Can't remember which one it is. Should be good, though. I'm looking forward to Dynamite. Chloe says, I hope Sammy protests Friday just to get trolled by Cesaro again. That was so funny. That was funny. Dax? Okay, perfect. And they also added a stipulation where Luchasaurus has to be handcuffed to Cash and Tully. I thought that was a little odd. A little odd one. Why don't you just have him banned from ringside? But yeah, I'm excited. There's a lot of very talented people in AEW, so it'll be great when they have their other show up and running and everyone's able to shine and they can feature more people. That'll be exciting. Oni says, as long as Reigns and gets a good chunk of time to do a promo, I'm all good on Friday. Yeah, I'm sure he will. I'm sure Reigns will dominate the show on Friday. Rocco says, how was Raw? Just joined. We are just finishing up here. I'm literally just buying time so that we can have a 3-hour show tonight. That's all I'm doing. Just stalling. I'm doing the same thing that Raw was doing all night tonight. I'm just stalling at this point. But yeah, Raw was terrible. Raw was not very good tonight. I do not recommend going back and watching it. It was not worth it. If you want to know what happened, you can go look at my updates. You can go look at anyone's updates if you want. Maybe even just going through WWE's Twitter if you want, just to catch some video of something that they posted. But tonight's show was terrible. Nothing important happened on it whatsoever. Randy Orton did RKO Alexa Bliss. So I guess that's the one thing to take away from the show. Oh, and Edge declared himself for the Royal Rumble. There you go. Those are the two things. Edge declared himself for the Royal Rumble. He will be there on Sunday. And Randy Orton RKO'd Alexa Bliss. That was it. That's all you need to know about the show. The rest of it was just bad. Just bad. All I saw was Edge returned, which is so dumb, but I do think he can actually win. Yeah, I think Edge has been a fan favorite to win the Royal Rumble for a while. So it's exciting. There's a lot of people who could win the Royal Rumble this year. So it'll be exciting to see who actually does it. I'm very excited. I'm very excited to have a Royal Rumble post show as well. Like I said, the Royal Rumble is my favorite. So I'm all into it. I'm so excited for it. All right, we hit 3 hours. I'm done. I'm out of here. I got to go do some work. For my stuff for tomorrow, get it all ready. But thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate it. If you're still here, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We're so close. I think I started off the night around like 9:45, I think 9:50 or something like that. So we're getting pretty close. Thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I did post the schedule for the week here. I guess I will rerun through it here for those of you who may not have heard it. Tomorrow there will be no post show. I might cover a little bit of Impact, not sure yet. Wednesday we will have our normal AEW Dynamite post show. Friday we will have the SmackDown post show. Saturday morning I will be releasing a Royal Rumble predictions video. Then probably around 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time we will have a Royal Rumble community prediction stream where everyone will be able to hop in and chat. We'll talk about my predictions, your predictions, and for the first time, we will have people be able to join in the Discord and give everyone their predictions as well. Then Sunday, we will have, of course, the Royal Rumble post show as well. So, crazy week. Hope to see you guys on the next one. Once again, thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I cannot believe we went for over 3 hours tonight. Absolutely insane. Good night, No Hacks. Thank you for tuning in, man. Yes, I will pray for SmackDown to be good as well. Austin Feathers, see you, man. Thank you for tuning in. Vanch, welcome back, my friend. Yeah, we're heading out. It's been 3 hours, man. 6 hours total. 3 hours of Raw, 3 hours of a Raw post show. I am pooped. I'm done. But thank you guys for tuning in. As always, it was such good shit. And I really appreciate it. See you all on Wednesday. Peace.